On a beautiful Wednesday evening from White House Field, the Harwich Mariners are set to take on the Cotuit Kettleers in Game 2 of the Home and Home Series. I'm Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner Thomas Inzarella. Glad to have you with us for this evening's matchup as the Harwich Mariners look to win back-to-back games. We'll jump into tonight's game in just a moment. But first, let's talk about last night's game where the Mariners had a convincing 11-3 win over the Cotuit Kettleers. It was shortened to just 7 innings due to darkness, but the bats came alive early, Thomas.
It was an offensive barrage early on, right from the first inning, scoring 3 runs in that first inning, including RBI doubles from Danny Casals and Andre Lipsius. And Andre Lipsius was the key man for yesterday in the win, went 4 for 4. 3 RBIs and 3 runs, and the Mariners, as a team, we know they lead the league in doubles. They had 5 doubles yesterday, including, as I said before, back-to-back in the first, and then in the third, they scored 2 more in the third. It was the 6-run fourth inning that really opened the door and let the floodgates flow in that game. So again, really, guys were from all around the order. You know, Aaron Chunk had an RBI, Lipsius had 3, Casals had 3 RBIs, Gorski had 3 RBIs. Those are the main contributors on that day, and if you're, I think, Coach Young, you're very happy with how the outcome happened because we mentioned before the Mariners at times have just been able to score runs, and the pitching's usually there against this is a team that is second in the league in ERA, but the bats, again, it's just a matter of if they're going to show up or not because we've seen them come out for 3 or 4 innings of the game and then really in the next 5 innings not really show up or awaken. So I think it's definitely a good positive sign. We'll have to see if it carries over because last time they played at Lowell Park, 110-3. The bats came out. They had 14 hits, came back to White House Field and lose 4-1. But then again, Anthony Veneziano was on the mound for the Kettleers. And, man, Veneziano, he's been one of those tough pitchers on the Cape League. And he was the player of the week that week as well. So we'll see what can happen today.
We'll jump into the pitching matchup for tonight's game in one moment, but first I'd like to focus on the pitching last night for the Harwich Mariners, specifically Will Matheson. 5 innings of work, 6 hits, 2 walks. What specifically did you like from him yesterday?
Well, I think, he's just the way he was attacking some hitters. I mean, the Cotuit was swinging early, and then he kept being aggressive, knowing that Matheson is a guy, doesn't walk a lot of guys. He did have 2 on the evening, but again, he gave 6 hits. Got into some jams, but, a couple guys in scoring position runners on first and second or second and third with 2 outs. But the Killers really offense couldn't do as much, and I think you have to credit Matheson as well, not just the hitters, but really credit Matheson. I mean, Cotuit left 11 guys on base in 7 innings, which is a ton. I mean, compared to the 5 left by the Mariners, and expecting, you score 11 runs, you leave a couple guys on, runners on first or runner on second. But again, I think that's just the major difference between yesterday. In the games that really separated was just Harwich getting guys in, hit after hit after hit, and Cotuit, they'll get a couple hits and then, back-to-back flyouts or, strike out a ground out would end the inning. So I think if Cotuit wants to win this game today, that's what they'll have to do better a job in, and that's, again, scoring guys in when they have runners in scoring position.
So let's jump into tonight's pitching matchup now for the Harwich Mariners. It's All-Star Tom Sutera, and let's start with him. Tom Sutera has been in a relief role for most of the season. He's had a number of long relief appearances. He had 4 innings of work versus Hyannis back on July 9th, 4 and a third innings versus Brewster his last time out. Tonight he's making a start. This is only his 2nd start of the season. What do you expect to see out of him this evening?
Well, Sutera is a guy we mentioned he's out of the bullpen. He's a guy that's got long relief for a ton of games this year. He has pitched, an inning or 2, but, 3 of his last 6 appearances have been for 4 innings or plus. So he's a guy that's gonna pitch. So far, he's pitched really well. Again, only a 2.7 ERA. Again, making his 2nd start, but he's a guy that right now has struck out 26 guys in just 23 in a 3rd inning, and I mean, he's been very reliable out of the bullpen for a long-term relief. Look at his last couple appearances, 4 innings, 4 and a third against Brewster, only 3 hits. 4 innings, only get 3 hits against Hyannis. So, I mean, Hyannis is a high-powered offense too, and so just be able to what he did against Hyannis. I mean, he did take the loss. He gave 1 run, 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. But going against an offense like Hyannis with Matthew Barefoot, who's right now leading the league in average, and a couple of guys like Brady Como are up there on the list as well. I think Sutera's done a great job this year, so we'll see if he can try to continue what Matheson did yesterday into today here at White House Field.
And on the mound for the Cotuit Kettleers is Zane Collins. And Collins has had a season that's been kind of interesting. It's been big innings that have hurt him. in his starts so far. He has pitched a total of 9 innings, just 2 starts, 3 earned runs, but out of the bullpen, the ERA is significantly higher, and again, it's just a couple of appearances where he's allowed a lot of runs.
Yeah, no, just a couple appearances where he's getting a amount of runs, and right now, he's a guy that, like as you mentioned before, has a high ERA, 5.87, 7 games, 2 starts. He's walked 9 guys in 15 a third, which is kind of high, so the Mariners can maybe find a way to get on base against Collins. Again, he pitched on the Cape last year back in 2017, so maybe he can find a way around. You know, a guy that pitched in the playoffs last year. So we'll see if Collins can get his good stuff on board here. Again, he said he struggled as a starting pitcher, but it is a new day, so we'll see what Collins has.
That's right. The strikeout to walk ratio not great for Zane Collins. You mentioned the high walk count at 9 in 15 innings. A little higher than you want to be. Strikeouts only 10. So if you're right around that 1-to-1 ratio, it's not outstanding. So Collins will have to work on that tonight. We'll step aside for the national anthem and be back after this.
So proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome back inside White House Field. Top half of the first inning. We're just about to get underway. Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner Thomas Inzarella. And Thomas, let's start with the defense for the Harwich Mariners.
So this is the defense so far that is 4th in the league in fielding percentage. They've made 34 errors on this season, but starting in left field is Ben Norman, Matt Gorski out in straightaway center, Rivera over in right, Aaron Schunk, the third baseman this evening. Lipsius going to start this evening back at shortstop. Casals over at second, Eichhoff back at first, and Brad Debo, the catcher, doing the catching this evening. First starter pitcher, Tom Tutera.
And the starting lineup for the Katuitt Kettleers, batting first and playing right field, Will Robertson. Batting second and doing the catching is Zach Humphreys. Batting third, the designated hitter, Thomas Dillard. Batting fourth, the shortstop, Michael Salvatore. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Michael Tolia. Batting sixth, the third baseman, Brady Smith. Batting seventh, the left fielder, Duke Ellis. Batting eighth, the center fielder, Peyton Burdick. And closing out the order and playing second base is Corey Wood. And now we take a look at the starting pitcher for the Harwich Mariners, Tom Sutera. We talked a little bit about him in the pregame show, and he's looked awfully good this season, Thomas.
Sutera's been a guy that's really been very reliable out of the bullpen and as a starting pitcher as well for the Harwich Mariners and Coach Endler. The guy that's 0-2 so far, 2.7 ERA, making his 10th appearance, second start. 23 1/3 inning pitched, 26 Ks, 8 walks, and 21 hits given up. Last appeared back on July 15th against, or 13th against Brewster, where he took the loss, pitched 4 1/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 1 walk, and 7 punchouts.
And Will Robertson, the right fielder, digs his back foot in from the left side. He's set to face off against Tom Sutera. First pitch from the right-hander is swung on, a high fly ball foul down the third base line, out of play. Harwich Mariners won last night's game by a score of 11-3. They look to win back-to-back in the second half of this home-and-home series versus the Cotuit Kettleers. 0-1 delivery. Fastball misses inside, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Now in Cape Cod, they don't have traditional series. You usually will play one team for a single game, and then that will be all. But there are a few home and homes. This is the 1-1 pitch. Fastball cut on and missed, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
We've seen Brewster a couple times that play Harwich home and home, and how the season will end here on the Cape.
A little different from that college setting where you always play in series. The 1-2 pitch swung on, a ground ball over towards second base. Casals will field and toss over to first. And there's 1 away in the top half of the first inning.
Nice job with Sutera there to induce the ground ball to Will Robertson. Casals double clutch down throw on the first. He'll retire the leadoff hitter Robertson. This year was batting .261 out of Creighton. Got a couple Big East guys here on the Cape. Joe Lasource out of St. John's, DeVito out of Seton Hall. See Connor Gramis as well for Brewster out of Xavier.
First pitch to the right-handed hitter, Zach Humphreys, is on the outside corner with a fastball for strike 1. Base path's empty, 1 out. Top of the first inning, a scoreless game. Tom Sutera making his second start on the season as the 0-1 pitch from Sutera is swung on and missed from Zach Humphreys, and the count 0 balls and 2 strikes on the right-handed hitter.
Yeah, Humphreys was in the 9 spot yesterday when 1 for 3 drove in one of the 3 RBIs for the Kettleers.
The 0-2 delivery. Fastball swung on and missed as Zach Humphreys goes down swinging, and there are 2 away in the top half of the first inning.
Yeah, just from that swing, it was kind of a half swing, and he just swung through it. He probably wasn't expecting the fastball, and he's very late on that swing. A pitch up in the zone, and Sutera will retire Humphreys. And again, this is a guy that has gotten a decent amount of strikeouts this year in Sutera, 26 and 23 1/3, as I mentioned before. Had 7 his last time out, just in 4 innings. So,
and Thomas Dillard digs in from the left side. First pitch swung on and fouled off out of play, and the count 0-1 on Dillard. And Dillard's someone we mentioned yesterday for an interesting statistic. He's now got a 10-game hit streak going, and in each of those 10 games, he has exactly 1 hit in each game. 0-1 pitch, breaking ball upstairs and outside, and the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Doesn't get much more consistent than that. He has not had 2 hits, not had 3 hits, not had 0 hits, had exactly 1 hit in each of the 10 games. As the 1-1 pitch, fastball swung on and missed, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. I'm sure Sutera, at least for his part, however long he goes, would like to prevent Dillard from getting that single hit he's had in 10 straight. Base paths are empty, 2 outs, top of the first inning. Scoreless game from White House Field. The 1-2 pitch, fastball cut on and fouled back to the screen behind home plate. And the count remains 1-2.
Dillard's a guy that is a switch hitter. He has a lot of powers from both sides of the plate. That's why he competed in the home run derby contest in Omaha after the College World Series had ended. He's a switch hitter.
The 1-2 pitch, fastball misses well upstairs, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. A lot of wind around the press box here tonight. We apologize if that's making any external noises through the microphones.
Looks like Brad Debo got a new mask as well. Nice little polished off white one on the front. Go along with his NC State catcher's gear.
The 2-2 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner. And Dillard goes down looking. A 1-2-3 inning to start things off from Tom Sutera. At the end of the top of the first, it's the Mariners nothing. And the Kettleers nothing. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back in the bottom half of the first inning. Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner Thomas Cinderella. And Thomas, let's take us around the diamond for the Cotuit Kettleers this evening.
So in left field, Duke Ellis, Peyton Burdick out in center field. Had the day off yesterday, back in the starting lineup this time around. Will Robertson lead off hitter in right. Over at third, Brady Smith out of Florida. Michael Salvatore over at short. Corey Wood out of Coastal Carolina. Back at second base again today. Michael Tolia back at first. And Humphreys doing the catching this evening for Zane Collins.
In the starting lineup for the Harwich Mariners. Batting first, the designated hitter is Tanner Morris. Batting second, the left fielder Ben Norman. Batting third, the third baseman Aaron Shunk. Batting fourth, the shortstop Andre Lipsius. Batting fifth, the second baseman Danny Casals. Batting sixth, the center fielder Matt Gorski. Batting seventh, the catcher Brad Debo. Batting eighth, the right fielder Gabe Rivera. And closing out the order and playing first base is Nate Eichhoff. The first pitch runs inside on Morris.
Morris, who was actually hitless in yesterday's game, was able to reach base there with a walk in the first inning.
1-0 pitch, swung on, a ground ball over towards first. Fielding and stepping on the bag is Tolia, and there's one away in the bottom half of the first inning.
Collins making his second appearance against these Harwich Mariners. Pitch back against the Mariners in Cotuit on June 26, 10-3 win for the Mariners. He pitched 1 2/3, 2 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 1 walk and 2 punch outs. So.
And Ben Norman steps in from the left side, bunt down the first base side, and he's going to be safe. A perfect bunt towards the right side of Tolia. It was between Tolia and Wood in first and second. They both sort of crashed into the ball, and the pitcher Zane Collins was not over to first in time, so it's a bunt single in the bottom half of the first inning.
That was a perfectly placed bunt by Norman. He put it past enough so the pitcher Collins couldn't get it. And then with the second baseman Wood playing back, be a tough play for him. That's a kind of second baseman. That's one of the toughest plays for a second baseman to make. He has to come in, throw from a bare hand sidearm over towards first, and Tully was too far away. So perfectly executed from Norman.
Bit of a surprise bunt single. No one was in on the grass. Everyone back, and he pulls off the bunt perfectly. As Collins tosses over to first base, Norman easily back into the bag.
Especially as a left-hander, you know, he'll take any hit you can against a left-handed pitcher. So Norman winning the battle there.
And Shunk, a right-handed hitter, takes a look at ball one in the dirt, and the count 1 ball and no strikes on the powerful third hitter in the Mariners order. Runner on first base, one out. Mariners get the first hit of the night, and it comes via a bunt single from Ben Norman. The 1-0 pitch swung on and missed on a fastball upstairs, and the count even at 1-1. Shunk taps each of his cleats once, steps into the right-hander's batter's box. 1-1 pitch, swung on, a ground ball right over to shortstop. Salvatore flips to second for one, back on to first, not in time. Fielder's choice from Aaron Shunk on a ground ball over towards shortstop.
Yeah, that was a soft grounder, and that's why Shunk was able to reach, because the shortstop Salvatore did charge in, but the grass just knocked it down a little bit too much. So again, it just took an extra second or two for the ball to travel. It wasn't hard hit, so they couldn't quite turn the double play.
And Andre Lipsius, a right-handed hitter, steps in with 2 away in the bottom of the first inning. Runner on first base. First pitch swung on, a ground ball through the left side, and his hot streak continues. I was just about to mention he was 4 for 4 in yesterday's contest. Will make it 5 for his last 5 as Andre Lipsius continues to hit at the plate.
He's been the hottest hitter so far for the Mariners over the last 2 games. And a guy that drove in the first run for the Mariners and yesterday, now able to get a base hit here with 2 outs and maybe give Casals a chance to get a hit and score a run for the Mariners here in the first inning yet again.
Danny Casals leads the Cape League in doubles, and the Mariners could use a double right now, possibly score multiple runs. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. Bottom of the first inning in a scoreless game. The first pitch to the right-handed hitter, Danny Casals, misses low and inside, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. It would be nice for Tom Sutera to have a couple of runs, at least as a cushion, as the 1-0 pitch is cut on and fouled off behind home plate towards the right field side, and the count even at 1-1.
And according to Casals today, he said he was starting, or as of yesterday, he said he was starting pitching today. So as Coach Berger and Casals was with him, and Casals is like, maybe I'm the man. I said, because I would love to see Danny Casals make the start for the Mariners sometime. But
1-1 pitch bounces low and in the dirt. Count 2-1. Nice job by the catcher Humphreys blocking that ball and keeping it in front of him. Add a little bit of extra flair on the mound there. You know, he's got the very interesting personality.
Oh, he is the more humorous run on this team, I think.
A lot of our pregame shows and postgame shows include him in the background as a 2-1 pitch is a breaking ball on the outside corner. Count even at 2-2.
Yeah, him and Gallen, those 2 guys, they're best buds here on the Cape, and filming videos at Fenway Park, and Chris Gallen in the background on Gabe Rivera interview, and then
the 2-2 pitch, fastball swung on and missed, and Danny Casals goes down swinging to end the bottom of the first inning after 1 inning of play. It's a scoreless game from White House Field. We'll step aside and be back in the top half of the second. Welcome back inside White House Field, top half of the second inning in a scoreless game. Tom Sutera worked a 1-2-3 inning in the top of the first. Looked awfully good doing it. Induced a ground ball over to second from Will Robertson, and then struck out Humphrey swinging and then got Dillard looking as the cleanup hitter, Michael Salvatore, will step in from the right side. Sutera gets a sign from Debo. First pitch swung on and a slow ground ball down towards third base, fielded by Shunkel. Throw across the diamond, and there's one away. Nice play by Aaron Shunk charging on that ball. Well, you mentioned Brad Debo with his new equipment earlier in the game. I hadn't yet seen it. It is shiny and new.
Maybe his old mask just got a little bit too dirty, or maybe it,
The chest protector too, though.
yeah, that is true. Yeah,
I can't tell if the shin guards are new, but the chest protector looks very, very new.
Could have gave it a wash as well.
Michael Tolia digs in from the left side. First pitch misses upstairs for ball one. Tolia hitting just 187 this year. 1-0 pitch at the knees for strike one, and the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Tolia homered his last time he was here in White House Field. Put a ball out towards right center field, looking to do the same here.
The 1-1 delivery, fastball misses upstairs, in the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Sutera so far has had good control. 12 strikes, 4 balls. And the 2-1 delivery. Swung on a high fly ball to left field. Norman moving over towards the line and makes the catch in fair territory for the second out of the inning. And another 2 up and 2 down quickly from Tom Sutera.
A little bit of shadows going on. We've seen that a couple times this year where right around 6:30 the sun is there in some parts of the outfield. And Norman had trouble from where the sun was existent and then to the place where the sun was not, so that can also play a couple problems as well, but he's got the shades out there and able to make the grab.
Brady Smith, the third baseman in tonight's contest, digs in to face Sutera. First pitch, fastball in the outside corner to the right-handed hitter, and the count 0-1. Base paths empty, 2 outs. Scoreless game from White House Field. The 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball on the outside corner, and the count 0-2.
Sutera doing a good job here, really getting ahead of these Kettleers hitters. Doesn't fall behind very too often so far.
The 0-2 delivery, fastball upstairs and outside. Was looking to get Smith swinging, but he held up. Count remains 1-2. And it's really great for someone like Tom Sutera to get the All-Star game nod, as you know, somebody who is flown under the radar. The 1-2 pitch, fastball runs upstairs in the count 2-2. Mostly come out of the bullpen and has been that workhorse for the Harwich Mariners all season long. And boy, does he deserve this All-Star game.
Yeah, no, he definitely does. He's been one of the better pitchers on these Harwich team, and actually Tom Sutera, when they back at Siena, played at Florida to start the beginning of the season. So this might be the first time that Smith and Sutera face each other. 2-2
pitch swung on, a one-hopper over towards second base. Having trouble fielding it originally was the second baseman Casals, and then a toss over to first.
As go down as an error on Casals. Okay, we don't see many errors from him this year. It's only his second error.
From the University of Texas, Duke Ellis.
Yeah, it's a ball that came up on him a little bit. And he played it on a long hop, so he almost had that time to recover from the bad hop that he originally had. But he was not able to field it cleanly. I think he may have actually lost that ball in the transfer process, trying to get it out of his glove. And once it fell on the ground, he picked it up and almost had a chance back at first base, but not quite in time to get Smith. The first pitch to the left-handed hitter, Duke Ellis, is swung on and fouled off, and the count 0-1.
It looks like when he was trying to, there was a one-hopper over to him, so he fielded up near the chest level and just couldn't quite get the ball out of the mid, which does happen to even some of the best second basemen in the game.
Runner on first base, 2 outs. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner, count 0-2. Ellis digs back into the left-handed batter's box. 0-2 pitch. Fastball misses below the knees, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 delivery swung on a high fly ball to center field. Gorski takes a couple of steps back, gets under it, and makes the catch for the final out of the inning at the end of the top of the second. It is the Harwich Mariners nothing, and the Cotuit Kettleers nothing. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. What's this? Last year I had a Volvo, not this year. 1995 Volvo last year. Urgent care is now available at 5 Cape Cod locations. Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent care. Bottom half of the second inning from White House Field, a scoreless game between the Harwich Mariners and Cotuit Kettleers. Stepping in for the Mariners is Matt Gorski. And Gorski's been red hot at the plate. He tried to bunt and fouled off the bunt. Count 0-1. Gorski has seen his average rise dramatically as the 0-1 pitch bounces about 57 feet from the pitcher's mound, 3 feet in front of home plate. Wasn't even close, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Gorski's average was in the high 100s, and now is third on this team. The 1-1 pitch swung on, a hard ground ball towards short. Salvatore Fields throws across the diamond, and there's one away.
Yeah, just mentioned Gorski really finding his way around the ball now. You can definitely tell in batting practice when a guy is very confident at hitting the ball well at all. And you can just tell that Gorski is one of those guys, and Debo, who's at the plate right now, which is another guy really in batting practice, really staying more focused and able to move the ball over the field.
Brad Debo, you mentioned another one of those guys who's hitting well at the plate right now as he steps in from the left side. First pitch misses inside for ball 1. A 1-0 delivery is a breaking ball right down the middle for strike 1, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike on the left-handed hitter. The 1-1 delivery cut on and fouled off over towards the on-deck circle for Cotuit. The count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And he was a guy that is going to take a lot of pitches. I was actually talking to his dad back at Fenway. I know he's probably listened to this and recollects this conversation.
1-2 pitch in there for strike 3. Debo goes down looking for the second out of the bottom half of the second inning. So 2 away now in the bottom of the second. Still a scoreless game from White House Field.
We always know, we always recognize too that Debo takes, he's a guy that'll take a couple pitches, even if it's back-to-back, strikes. He's a guy that takes a lot of pitches, and I guess that's because Used to be a very impatient hitter and swinging a lot of pitches.
First pitch to Gabe Rivera misses low and inside, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. And Gabe Rivera is someone who had a very impressive day at Fenway Park. It's not always about the home runs, but when you're able to hit 5 over the monster, it's got to be a good feeling as the 1-0 pitch misses low and inside again, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 pitch swung on, and a high fly ball to center field. The center fielder, Burdick, takes a couple steps back and makes the catch for the final out of the inning. At the end of 2 innings of play, it is the Harwich Mariners nothing, and the Cotuit Kettleers nothing. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top of the 3rd inning from White House Field. Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner Thomas Inzarella. We're glad to have you with us this evening as the Harwich Mariners and Cotuit Kettleers are scoreless in the top of the 3rd inning.
Different game than it was yesterday. It was all Harwich to this point. Offensive explosion on the Mariners' part so far. They do have 2 hits, but no runs yet. We'll see when Harwich or Cotuit, which one of those teams will score first.
Peyton Burdick digs in from the right side. First pitch from Sutera. Fastball on the inside corner for strike 1, and they count 0-1.
So a couple right state guys. Zane Collins out of right state. Burdick as well, including Jeremy Randolph on Hyannis, a pitcher.
0-1 delivery swung on. A line drive towards right field. Right fielder on the run. That's Gabe Rivera who makes the catch for the first out of the inning. There's 1 out in the top of the 3rd.
Burdick did a good job there. Pitch that was on the outside half of the plate just goes with the pitch and able to hit a line drive out to the right field side, but right at the right fielder Rivera, who had a couple steps to move over to his left.
And Corey Wood, the 9-hitter in the Cotuit Kettleers order, steps foot in the left-handed batter's box. First pitch, fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. The 0-1 pitch, breaking ball at the knees, and the count 0-2. Sutera has done well to pound the zone. 23 strikes, just 8 balls. 0-2 pitch misses upstairs and outside, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. That ability to pound the strike zone will do you a lot of good in terms of not falling behind in the count, being able to throw whatever pitch you want to in your arsenal as the 1-2 pitch misses outside, and the count even at 2-2. When you fall behind in the counts, you have to either throw, you oftentimes have to throw a fastball, you want to throw something down the plate, so you're forcing something. When you're ahead in the count, you can afford to throw a couple pitches outside the zone, try to get a swing and a miss. The 2-2 delivery swung on, a foul ball down behind home plate. The count remains 2-2 on Corey Wood. Corey Wood taps home plate once, steps back in from the left side. Base paths are empty with one out. The 2-2. Breaking ball swung on, a high fly ball to right center field. Gabe Rivera on the run. It's going to drop for a base hit. Matt Gorski throws the ball in very quickly towards second base. Strong throw, but it is a double for Corey Wood as he runs well. Hit that ball to right center. Looked like Gabe Rivera had a beat on it, but ends up dropping between the center fielder Gorski and the right fielder Rivera. So a runner on second base with one out in the top of the third. And all of a sudden, the Cotuit Kettleers have something cooking.
That was a really nice job by Wood. Just put that ball right in the middle of the gap there, and the ball carried a little bit more. And the wind it's been changing patterns all. I mean, it was blowing out on that pitch, and now it looks like it's blowing in a little bit and going back out. So ball carried just an extra maybe 5 feet than normally it would have, and made the difference.
First base hit for the Cotuit Kettleers this evening. First pitch is a off-speed pitch swung on and missed from Will Robertson, and the count 0-1. The 0-1 from Sutera. This is low in the count, even at 1 ball and 1 strike. And that was just a pitch left out over the plate, and it wasn't even all that great of a piece of hitting from Corey Wood. You're right, it just found a gap between in right center field. I mean, it was a high fly ball. The 1-1 pitch, fastball in there for strike 2. And normally, you know, that ball is hit almost anywhere else in this ballpark, it's going to be a routine fly out. But because it's in that spot in right center field, placed perfectly, it's a double with 1 out for Peyton Burdick, or I beg your pardon, Corey Wood. 1-2 pitch, swung on, a high pop-up foul out of play behind home plate. The count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. So it's Wood off second base, 1 out. Top of the third inning. Scoreless ball game from White House Field. The 1-2 offering. Breaking ball cut on and fouled off by Robertson over towards the on-deck circle. Count remains 1-2.
Yeah, Robertson just trying to fight off that pitch, not really trying to do much with it, just get a piece and look to get another pitch. And maybe Sutera can make a mistake, but Sutera is ahead in the count, so.
Sutera fake throws back down towards second base.
Yeah, that's why always the third base coach will shout back and from the bench as well, because if you're on second base, you sometimes can't see the shortstop who's behind you rolling back. Though as a shortstop, you want to play a little tricking games on the guy at second, make it look like you're going to roll over, and that time Morris did.
Sutera kept the ball on his glove the entire time. The 1-2 pitch. This is upstairs and outside to Robertson. And Robertson's persistence has forced Sutera to throw a couple of balls out of the zone. Count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's why if you're ever at a game, you can always see either second base or shortstop pound their glove behind the ear almost of the guy on second base.
2-2 pitch. Ooh, fastball just missed low, and the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. Sutera was looking for the strike 3 call, but Bill Haynes wouldn't give it. Your umpiring crew tonight behind home plate, Bill Haynes. At first base, Larry Robertson. And over at third is Vincente Alexander Medina. Pitch number 8 of the at-bat. Misses just upstairs and outside, and Robertson draws a walk. The runner's on first and second with 1 out. And Sutera, who was ahead in the count early, it's a 1-2 count. Ends up walking Robertson, who worked it full and then drew a walk.
Yeah, well, those pitches didn't miss by much, and if you're Sutera, you're kind of angry at yourself, but then again, it's better to miss a pitch out of the zone than in the zone where a hitter can crush it out towards the field. So Again, he still has a chance here and now with the run on first. It's not the worst thing in the world. He can get a double play ball to maybe get him out of this inning here.
Robertson, who has a 5-game hit streak, draws a walk, and the first pitch is swung on, and a line drive into left field, but nice job by Norman coming in and making the catch on a Zach Humphreys fly out into left. So 2 away in the top half of the 3rd inning.
And Zach Humphreys trying to swing at the first pitch again. A guy that, or a guy like Sutera doesn't walk a lot of guys, so you want to maybe jump on the first couple of pitches there and see what he has, because Sutera, to this point, he does have 2 strikeouts. He showed much of his arsenal the second time around, too. Humphreys, who struck out back in the first, might learn something and try to jump on the first pitch fastball he saw.
And Thomas Dillard, who has a 10-game hitting streak. We talked about that back in the top of the 1st inning. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. First pitch, a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. Corey Wood leads off second base. Will Robertson off of first with 2 outs in the top of the 3rd. Scoreless ball game from White House Field. The 0-1 pitch from Sutera, breaking ball outside, and the count even at 1-1. After a couple of quick innings in the 1st and 2nd, it's a longer inning this time around for Tom Sutera. Mariners with 2 hits on the evening. Katuitt with 1. They've also reached on an error and a walk. The 1-1 pitch. Fastball, and that one just misses. Maybe a little bit high and inside, but it was awfully close on Thomas Dillard, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike.
Dillard, a very dangerous hitter right now for Sutera. Sutera to strike him out back in the 1st inning.
The 2-1 delivery. Fastball on the outside corner, on the count even at 2-2.
Dillard's a guy that had 13 long balls back at Ole Miss in the SEC, batted .310, and drove in 59 guys in 65 games. So
runners on first and second, 2 outs. Top of the 3rd inning. The 2-2. Ooh, that one just misses again outside. A lot of pitches right around the strike zone, but just missing according to the home plate umpire, Bill Haynes. The count runs full at 3-2, and I think these pitches are maybe supposed to be painting the black or trying to get the hitter to swing and miss at a pitch a little bit outside that strike zone.
Brad Debo doing his best to try to frame those pitches, doing a good job.
Payoff pitch swung on, a high fly ball down the right field line. It's off the wall. 1 run scores. Rounding 3rd is Robertson. He'll score. It's a 2 RBI double off the bat of Thomas Dillard. And the Katuitt Kettleers take a 2-0 lead in the top of the 3rd.
And that's huge for the Kettleers, as yesterday the Mariners jumped out to a commanding lead early in the game. So now they get 2 runs here in the 3rd inning to maybe separate themselves from the Mariners early and maybe give some confidence out on the mound to Zane Collins, who now is pitching is pitching with a lead for the first time this evening. So,
and now the cleanup hitter, Michael Salvatore, digs his back foot into the right-handed batter's box. It's Dillard off second base, 2 outs, top of the 3rd inning. First pitch, fastball swung on and fouled off behind home plate. Count 0-1. Mariners now trail the Katuitt Kettleers 2-0, the top half of the 3rd inning. Sutera's night started off very, very well, did not allow a hit in the first 2 innings. And with 1 out, it was a double off the bat of Corey Wood, a walk to Will Robertson, and then a 2 RBI double off the bat of Thomas Dillard. The 0-1 pitch, fastball up the knees for strike 2 on Michael Salvatore. But the Katuitt Kettleers are not done yet. They still have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. A base hit could extend the Katuitt lead. The 0-2 pitch swung on and fouled off over the Cotuit bullpen, or I beg your pardon, the Cotuit dugout. Count remains 0-2.
And this is where the Kettleers may have to improve upon. As of yesterday, they couldn't really drive in guys in scoring position, left 11 on base, as I mentioned earlier. That's why that Dillard double is big. Let's see now here if Cotuit can continue that trend and try to play Dillard off of second base.
The 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on, a ground ball over towards second. Casals ranges over to the gap between first and second, makes the play and throws over to first for the final out of the inning, but not before the Cotuit Kettleers have a 2 RBI double off the bat of Thomas Dillard and take a 2-0 lead at the end of 2.5. It's 2-0 Cotuit. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Virginia, number 25, Nate Eichhoff.
9-1 and 2 hitters due up in the bottom of the third inning, a 2-0 Cotuit Kettleers lead. And the first batter, Nate Eichhoff, digs in from the left side and takes ball 1 low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. I was talking with Nate Eichhoff a little bit before the game and just how much fun it is to play on Cape Cod. The 1-0 pitch swung on and fouled off down the right field line. When you're playing baseball at school, of course you still love to play baseball, but the stakes are a little bit higher. And it feels like it's more of a job. You have to juggle the baseball with the schoolwork, and the 1-1 pitch misses low and outside. But when it's over here on Cape Cod, he was telling me, it's just supposed to be a lot of fun, and it has been a lot of fun for all these players here on Cape Cod. 2-1 delivery, swung on and fouled off over towards the Cotuit dugout, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's why I always thought playing summer ball is a lot more fun, because you got nothing to do during the daytime. You're just hanging around. Hanging with your friends, just doing whatever you want, and then go out play some baseball. Where during the school year, it's a little more difficult.
2-2 pitch, swung on a high pop-up into shallow center field. Burdick moves in a few steps over towards his right and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. 1 away in the bottom of the third.
Hitter from the University of Virginia, Tanner Morris.
And Tanner Morris, the leadoff guy, who's in the DH spot tonight. They want to keep his bat in the lineup. Want to give a couple other guys a shot over at shortstop as the first pitch is a breaking ball and misses low for ball 1. Now, Andre Lipsius has been someone who they've wanted to keep in the lineup, but since Morris has been playing every day at shortstop, he's been moved over. He's been at first base as the 1-0 pitch is swung on and fouled off. Count 1-1. So because Tanner Morris is over at shortstop, Lipsius has played at first, but now Lipsius is going to get a start over at short as the 1-1 pitch is a fastball in the outside corner, count 1-2.
He's a guy that has played shortstop back at Tennessee, so just trying to get some reps here on the Cape and show the scouts.
1-2 pitch, breaking ball in the dirt, swung on and missed from Morris. And there are 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning. He goes chasing at a breaking ball low and out of the zone.
That is a very tough pitch for a left-hander to not swing at it. The pitch is going to start in the zone, and all of a sudden just drop off and finish out of the zone. It's almost like a Chris Sale wipeout slider.
And Ben Norman had a hit his last time up, batting average up to 200. Base hits in back-to-back games for the left-hander. First pitch, breaking ball at the knees for strike one. I was talking to Norman a little bit before the game, talking about his, talked to his parents a little bit at the bike shop, actually. They gave me a visit at my place of work as the 0-1 pitch is swung on and fouled off. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes. And I said hi to them. They came over. They got some bikes from our bike shop. I talked to Ben Norman, and he told me they had told him a little bit about it. The 0-2 delivery to Norman misses low in the dirt in the count 1-2. I saw Ben Norman's father wearing the Iowa Athletics shirt, and I thought there's a good chance it's Norman's father, and it just so happened that it was. The 1-2 delivery to Ben Norman. Breaking ball swung on and missed in the dirt, blocked by Humphreys. He'll toss over to first, and that will do it to end the bottom half of the third inning. At the end of 3 innings of play, it's the Mariners nothing, and the Kettleers 2. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
And we'll go back inside White House Field for the top half of the 4th inning. It's a 2-0 Kettleers lead. Look to tack on a few more, but in the booth right now we have right-handed pitcher Will Masson out of Stanford University. Will, thanks for joining us this evening.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So far Tom Tutera has been doing a great job on the mound. As all the 2 runs after the Dillard RBI double. We got things going for the Kettleers. He'll face off against Michael Tolia, the first baseman. First pitch is in there at the knees for strike 1.
So, Will, you pitched last night for the Harwich Mariners against the Cotuit Kettleers. These same Kettleers, you went 5 innings of work. What do you feel about your stuff last night?
Yeah, I felt really good last night, actually. You know, I had a few quick innings to start the game and then ran into a little bit of trouble in the 4th and 5th inning, but was fortunate enough to get out of it with no runs.
So Tolia chops it over towards the first base side, and Eichhoff picks up and steps on the bag himself for a quick one out here in the top half of the 4th inning. 2-0 Kettleers lead. Now, and I know you go to Stanford University, and obviously academics is a big key there. I remember hearing about Christian McCaffrey. You know, he had to finish off his academics and finals before he go to rookie OTAs, and obviously that's why you had to kind of wait a little bit maybe till to come up to the Cape. And what's it like going to Stanford and really having such a great academics as well as a great baseball program?
Yeah, I love it there. You know, I can't say enough great things about the school, university, the campus, the athletics. You know, sometimes, you know, I just realize, you know, where I'm going, and, I can't help but just be, thankful and to think how fortunate I am. But yeah, I finished school on June 13th, which is almost a week and a half after the Cape season started. So it came up a little late, but I was able to come in and get adapted to the team and the host family situation, and it's all worked out.
So count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes on the third baseman this evening, Brady Smith out of University of Florida. He reached on error back in the second inning. Here with 1 out on the top of the fourth.
And revisiting last night's start, I know that you're transitioning from a reliever into a starter over at Stanford. So tell us how you've been able to transition, how it's been on Cape Cod, and then how was it last night, again, going deeper into ball games?
Yeah, my first start of the year, I think I only went 60 pitches. And from then I've just kind of increased the pitch count every week and kind of gotten more used to that starting role and going longer into games and throwing more pitches. But it's been a fairly smooth transition. It hasn't been too bad, and now that I'm in a routine, throwing once a week and throwing bullpens in between, it's been a lot easier.
So 1-2 breaking ball misses the dark good stop at the catcher. Debo now has 2 balls and 2 strikes here with 1 out on the top of the fourth. Sutera comes set. And the 2-2 pitch to Smith is lifted out of play over towards the first base bleacher side. Count remained at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And back to last night's game, I know that there were a few jams you ran yourself into, but you got out of each and every one of them and looked really good out there, although there were runners on first and third a couple of times. How were you able to stay focused and work yourself out of those jams?
I think it was just making pitches when I needed to and really focusing on, the batter rather than the runners on base. I think in the first inning I had runners on first and third fairly quickly and was able to work out of it. And then I think maybe only one of the 5 innings I worked in, there was no one on base. So I had runners on base last night, but was fortunate enough to be able to get out of there unscathed.
Helps a little bit too when you get all that offensive run support that you did yesterday. Great offensive display by the Mariners against the Kettlers back at Lowell Park. Again, it's a 3-2 pitch. It's a slow chopper over towards third base. Shot feels a throw across the diamond in time. Brady Smith is retired, and it's a nice play by the third baseman. Aaron Shunk is able to retire Smith in time over at first. 5-3, mark it down. As there's quickly 2 outs here in the top of the fourth for 2-0 Katuitt Kettleers lead.
So Thomas mentioned the run support for the Harwich Mariners. How does that affect you mentally as a pitcher, having that big lead in front of you? How are you able to stay focused? And of course, every at-bat still matters for you, of course, even though the team's up by 11 runs.
Yeah, getting run support, and especially getting run support early in games. I think we put up at a 3 or 4 spot in the first inning last night before I'd even gone out there. It's definitely huge, for me, going out there knowing I've got a big lead and just going out there and trying to pound the strike zone and get outs and keep that lead intact.
As the 1-0 pitch to now Duke Ellis is swung on and lifted out towards Ray on a line drive out towards center field, dropping for a base hit to the center field. Gorski had a strong throw over at first as Ellis, and he's on board for the first time this evening here with 2 outs in the top half of the fourth inning. 2-0 Kettleers lead, and so far he's been here for maybe about a month now on the Cape. And what's your favorite part about the Cape so far? Obviously, you go to school out west, so making the trek east. What's it like being back here on the east and on the East Coast and Cape Cod?
I'm actually really enjoying it out here. The Northeast is similar to where I'm from, which is the Northwest. With how green it is and the trees and the environment kind of reminds me of back home. Obviously, the baseball here is awesome. Tons of good competition. The fields are great. There's almost at every field you're at, there's a great atmosphere with fans. But aside from baseball, going to the beach and stuff, it's great. It's hard to beat.
A 1 pitch to Peyton Burdick is slapped down the left field line for a base hit, throwing it back in is Ben Norman. So now the runners on first and second with 2 outs there. Kettlers mounting a 2-out rally to try to stretch this 2-0 lead and maybe even some more. As Ellis stands on second, Burdick on first.
Pitcher for the Harwich Mariners tonight, Tom Sutera, has looked quite good out there. What are your thoughts on him? All-star this year?
Yeah, Tom and I have a joke. We're 2 of the tallest guys on the team, so we're always, joking about how tall we are and how small everyone else is. But no, Tom's looking good tonight. He had 2 quick innings and then ran into a little bit of trouble last inning. But he's doing a great job of pounding the zone, working down in the zone, and throwing a lot of strikes.
First pitch to the 9-hitter. Corey Wood is bounced right back up the middle, running around third towards home is Ellis. The throw is not in time, but the throw to third bounces off Burdick as he was sliding in. He is safe as there are runners on the corners with 2 outs, and the Kettleers tacking on another here in the top of the 4th. Score is now 3-0 in favor of the Kettleers.
It's a well-hit ball right back up the middle. Ends up plating another run and extending the Cotuit lead to 3-0.
The leadoff hitter for the Kettleers, the right fielder from Creighton, number 24.
So now with 2 outs, still runners on the corners, it is Will Robertson. You talk about your teammates being here on the Cape. I know a lot of guys say it's one of their best summers they've ever had, and I know being around some of the types of players I know is often quite fun. But we would probably say maybe some of the best guys to be around on this Mariners team.
I actually get along with almost everyone on the Mariners team. It's a great group of guys. I'm living with Logan Driscoll, and he and I get along well, and just so happened that he caught me last night, which worked out pretty well. You know, have that roommate connection.
Yeah.
But you know, I get along with a lot of the guys, and they're a great bunch.
You know, Danny Casale seems like the type of guy that is, we always say, it's the type of guy to be really fun around. And I know down the bullpen area, guys, during pregame, doing a bunch of things, you know, whether it's throwing a football or just having a catch, or you know, saw this over here. 2-ball was being played earlier in the game as well, so it's always a fun time to be around here. And I know you and Logan, you just mentioned you and Logan Driscoll are roommates. What's it like living with a host family?
It's great. You know, it's definitely a different experience because you're living in some stranger's house, for lack of better words. But the host families are awesome. You know, they really embrace the experience, and it's great to get to know them. And we're very thankful for them opening up their houses for us and housing us for the summer.
Definitely is a unique experience you may not experience in other places. As first pitch runs outside to the leadoff hitter Will Robertson. 2 outs, runs in the corners. 3-0 Kettleers lead. Righty-lefty matchup. Sutero throw back over to first, and back in standing up at first is Corey Wood.
And I know a lot of times you're on a pitch count over here on Cape Cod. A lot of times 85 is what I've been told by a lot of the coaching staffs where they like to keep the pitchers. So when you're in the middle of an outing, do you like to know where your pitch count is, or do you like to sort of keep that out of the back of your mind?
I think it's nice to know where you're at. Every time you go out there, you're trying to get quick outs, work efficiently for yourself, and also so that you can go longer into games. But sometimes you run your pitch count up, and you have shorter outings, and sometimes you're fortunate enough to go 6 or 7 deep in the 85 pitch count. But I think it's definitely a good rule or philosophy for our coach to have to keep pitchers low just for arm health, and 85 is not too many pitches, but it's also it gives you an opportunity to go deeper into games.
But you like to know where that is, where you are in that sort of range?
I do. I prefer to know just so I know where I'm at, and how much effort I need to give in these, if it's the last inning and I know it's the last inning, I can go out there and give it all I got.
I've talked to some other college pitchers over the years, and they've told me, oh no, I like to keep that out of my mind. Don't want to have anything to do with it. Just want to pitch, focus on the batter. But some guys like you like to know where you are, so you have an idea of how much longer you're going to go.
Exactly. I guess it just depends on the pitcher.
Some pitchers like to finish what they started. I know my brother was a pitcher, was big like that on the mound. Always wanted to go almost the full game as 1-2 pitches fouled back into the screen. Count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
So how did that work for you back in high school? Were you able to go deep into outings? High school games are usually only 7 innings as opposed to the full 9. Usually you get to go for some complete games there, or I guess you were more of a fielder, I guess, though, in high school than anything else, right?
Yeah, so I did both in high school. I was a starting pitcher and then played third base when I wasn't starting. But some games I would go the full 7, and some games I'd go 4 or 5. Just kind of depended on the outing.
1-2 pitches popped up above second base side. Andre Lipsius will make the grab for number 3. The Kettleers do score 1 as Linelli 3-0. And well, we'd like to thank you for joining us up here in the broadcast booth, and we wish you luck throughout the rest of this Cape League season.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So that'll do it for us in the top half of the 4th inning. 3-0 Kettleers led heading to the bottom half of the 4th. Mariners look to get the bats going. We'll be right back. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside the broadcast booth from White House Field for the bottom half of the fourth inning. Bassett join us in the top half of this inning, and the Kettleers able to scratch out across a run. It's now 3-0 as the first pitch is Shunk. It's lifted in the air towards center field. The center fielder shading over to his right, and Burdick and will make the catch for out number one here in the bottom of the fourth. One pitch, one out for Zane Collins, who's pitched well to this point, only has yielded 2 hits on the evening and no runs.
And talking about pitch count again, which you were talking about with Will Matheson for some time, Zane Collins has kept that pitch count way down, just 36 pitches through 3 1/3 innings of work. That's an average of right around 11 pitches per inning. And that's exactly where you want to be. If you're on an 88, 85 pitch count, you can go 7, 8 innings if you're going with 11 pitches per inning.
First pitch to the ever dangerous shortstop, Andre Lipsius. Misses outside for ball 1.
Interesting note about Zane Collins.
As the 1-0 pitch runs outside once more, the catcher, Humphreys, couldn't quite squeeze it. Count as 2 balls and no strikes.
Interesting note, which I was saying is, staying on that same idea of going deep into an outing, he had a complete game shutout last season back here in Cotuit.
2-0 pitch is lifted in the air towards the right side of the field, but it will find the seats out there on the hill out in right field.
It's actually in their trophy case at Cotuit. They've got a trophy case with all their championship trophies and everything, and then you have that score sheet of the complete game shutout from Zane Collins.
3-1 pitch to Lipsius is upstairs. He'll take his base over at first, so the shortstop able to reach base here, as that is the first walk issued by Zane Collins this evening.
Something interesting that I saw in that at-bat with Andre Lipsius, he was up 3-0 in the count, and he swung on 3-0. And, it's one thing if it was just a one-off, but we're seeing a lot of these Mariners hitters trying to swing on 3-0. We saw Danny Casals try to swing on 3-0. He's actually done that twice now, and then we see Andre Lipsius do it as well.
Swung on and missed. First pitch to Casals. And we have seen it a couple times this year. Some guys just they want to hit the ball, and if a pitcher as well, they might just groove a fastball in there, and that's what has happened. And the Mariners are able to make contact, but just not put it in play. As the 0-1 pitch curl bounces, and there Lipsius will scurry back to first base as the catcher Humphreys is looking to throw down. Count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. And it has been finalized as well that Manny Machado is going to the Dodgers. They finally just released. We kind of knew it yesterday during the All-Star game, but they finally released all the details today. A couple prospects included for Machado, who will be a rental player this year for the Dodgers.
Well, what would have happened if he was traded before the game yesterday? Would he still be an AL player? Would he be an NL, or what happens there?
I would think that he would still be in the AL because he was voted in the American League. 2-1 pitch to Casals, swung on and missed. Count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Would he still be eligible?
I would think he still would be eligible. He'd still be in the American League, and I just don't think they wanted the headlines to take over from the All-Star game yesterday, so they just finished it up today.
I heard it was the Phillies and the Dodgers were the final 2, and the Dodgers ended up completing the deal to get him. I saw 5 prospects, I think is what I saw. Manny Machado, trade official. He's going to the Dodgers for 5 prospects, according to SB Nation.
Throwing back over to first base is Collins to check on Lipsius. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Collins comes set, lefty-righty matchup. The 2-2 pitch. Curveball is swung on and chopped over towards the third base side as it bounces over towards the end of that bench area. We'll head towards the bullpen, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Casals looking to reach base for the first time today. Struck out back in the first inning as time is called by Casals. He restraps his Evo Shield leg guard down there towards the ankle area. Mariners wearing their home cream uniforms. Cotuit wearing their road maroon and black as the 2-2 curveball is once more chopped behind home plate over toward the on-deck circle as the ball boy this evening will get his usual exercise and run to chase after that one. As As Collins will throw back over towards first, and back and standing up is Lipsius. Count stays 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 to Casals. Fastball bounces in the dirt, good block by the catcher Humphreys. The count runs full now on Casals. Show begins to set here from White House Field as all of the field itself is pretty much in the shade now as the sun is heading out towards the scoreboard out in right center field as Collins will check on Lipsius to make sure he doesn't get a head start here on the 3-2 pitch. So 3-2, 1 out. Lipsius over on first base. Mariners trail the Kettleers by a score of 3-0, in which the Kettleers put 1 here in the 4th. Looking to go back-to-back against the Kettleers as Casals skies one up in the infield towards the right side for the first baseman. Tolia is under it and will catch it in fair territory for out number 2 as Lipsius had to run all the way back to first as he was running on the pitch. And we'll get back in time, but there are 2 outs with Lipsius on first here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
From Indiana, Matt Gorski.
And now is the center fielder this evening, Matt Gorski, who will try to continue this inning as he will stand in from the right side facing the left-handed pitcher Zane Collins. First pitch to Gorski. Run just off the outside corner for ball 1. Collins so far 3 2/3, 2 hits, no runs, no earned, 1 walk and 4 punch outs for the southpaw out of right stay as he checks on Lipsius again over at first. 1-0 pitch misses down and in for ball 2. Count is 2-0 on Gorski. Mentioned before, a couple guys at a right state here on the Cape. Jeremy Randolph, probably the most notable, leads the league in strikeouts. As the fastball that bounced probably a foot short of the plate is stopped by the catcher Humphreys, and he couldn't quite tell where that ball was until his fellow teammates started shouting feet, 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 feet. Can be awfully tough for a catcher when you block a ball and you just don't know where it ends up. 3-0 pitch to Gorski. He's taken all the way and takes a fastball at the belt right down the middle for strike 1. Count is now 3-1.
Well, that time, Gorski takes on 3-0. Again, as I was mentioning earlier, we've seen a lot of players try to swing the bat on 3-0.
Through-run fastball runs up and away for ball 4. Gorski tosses the bat and the elbow guard as well. He'll run over towards first base. As now the runners on first and second with 2 outs. Gorski able to work a 2-out walk off of Collins as now the field will come in as Jerry Weinstein, and the assistant coach, runs out.
While there's a break in the action, it's a great time to head over to the 50-50 table located at the main entrance and purchase.
Mentioned this yesterday, but Jerry Weinstein, of course, a lot of head coaching experience. He coached in Wareham for a bit. He moved around the minor league system with a double-A affiliate of the Rockies. Coached Team Israel back just 2 years ago in the World Baseball Classic, which Team USA ended up winning that one. It was their first one since 2006, sometime around there. USA has found little success in the World Baseball Classic, but able to finally break through. And
Now batting for the Mariners, number 35, the catcher, Brad Debo.
so with 2 outs is now the catcher, Brad Debo, out of NC State, will try to scratch across the first run for the Mariners this evening. Collins backs off the mound for a second and will now head back to the rubber. Left foot touching the rubber. Lefty-lefty matchup. The first pitch to Debo. Curveball bounces in for ball 1. Debo so far is 0 for 1 with a punch out back in the second inning. So Lipsius off a second, Gorski off a first. 0-1 curveball is picture perfect right at the knees on the outer half of the plate for strike 1. It counts now 1 ball and 1 strike. That curveball to a lefty will start at him, and then on the inside half and will come right to the outside plate. That's what that last one was. As the 1-0 curveball is popped up in the air towards the pitcher's mound. Third baseman Smith calls off the pitcher. Collins will squeeze it for the third out of the inning. So the Mariners do leave 2 runners on, including Lipsius in scoring position over at second base, as the Mariners still trail the Cavaliers by a score of 3-0. Let's into Mariners baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. And welcome back inside White House Field, home of the Harwich Mariners. As here in the top half of the 5th inning, the Kettleers look to pick up maybe a few more here. They scored 2 in the 3rd and 1 in the 4th. They scored the last 2 innings off the right-hander Tom Sutera. Sutera so far, 4 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 1 walk, and 2 punch-outs. Had both those punch-outs back in the first 2, Humphreys and Dillard. And stepping in from the right side is Zach Humphreys, showing bunt, but pitch misses low and outside for ball 1 to Humphreys. He is 0 for 2 this evening. Humphreys out of TCU, a native of DeSoto, Texas. As the 1-0 pitch is swung on and laced down the left field line. It's a fair ball, says the third base umpire. And right around first over towards second base, the throw from Norman is cut off by Lipsius. Aaron Shunk couldn't believe it. Over at third base, he was hopping up and down. But it's fair ball, says the third base umpire, Vincent Alexander Medina.
I think he's right. I think I saw that ball bounce inside in fair territory. I was pretty darn sure that was a fair ball. Aaron Shunk may not have liked the call, but from my angle here, we got a nice overhead view of that third base line. I thought it was in fair territory. What about you?
It was close. I'm guessing it had to have hit the line then, because I don't think it bounced completely in fair territory. It looked like it was tailing over towards the left side of that foul line, so it had to have hit at least some of the spray line that's going down the left field corner. And it looks like they call will stay. I don't think the umpire so far not showing any signs of getting together.
If they were going to even think about reversing anything, they would have had to discuss things together, but and again, I think the call was correct by the third base umpire, Vincent Alexander Medina.
So now it is Thomas Dillard, the power hitting DH this evening out of Ole Miss. He has 2 RBIs to his name after his 2 RBI double back in the 3rd. First pitch to Dillard, runs off the plate on the outer half for ball 1. Dillard, a switch hitter, as he digs in from the left side. Fun fact about him is he actually lettered in bowling in high school. I know some high schools do offer bowling as a sport, and nonetheless, Dillard just lettered it in as the 1-0 curveball misses down below the knees for ball 2. Count is 2-0. And I don't know if you've ever been bowling. Bowling is it's a kind of a tough sport. I know Mookie Betts is actually a big bowler as well. He's a guy that can almost the perfect game at 200.
It's 300 is a perfect.
300. Sorry, yeah.
That's what it is. I have bowled a few times. I am not at all good at bowling. I have had a few times I've done okay, and I've also had a number of times where I've been downright awful, like one of the worst bowlers ever. So I've had a bit of a mix, but generally I am definitely not a good bowler. I've had the bumpers up until maybe 2 years ago.
That's just that is awful. 3-0 pitch bounce third for ball 4 as Diller would take his base over at first. So a walk here issued to Diller as now the Killers have 2 men on and nobody out as right-handed pitcher is now warming in the Mariners bullpen.
When did you get rid of the bumpers?
I never used the bumpers.
Oh, never. Not even when you were younger.
Never used the bumper. I didn't go much when I was younger. I've been going more the last 2 or 3 years. We have a bowling club at our high school, so put that on the resume and enjoyed some bowling with my friends. I think my best score maybe might be like a 150 or 160. Not very good.
That's pretty good. That's very good even.
Showing bunt there is the shortstop Michael Salvatore. He fouls it off towards the Mariners dugout area for strike 1.
I've had a few rounds over 100. I'm usually sometimes I think I reached maybe 125 once, but I've had rounds below 50, 60.
That's just flat out awful. I'm sorry, but I honestly don't know how that's physically possible.
Well, you just average 5 or 6 pins per.
You gotta hit something. As showing bunt once more is Salvatore. He bounces it off towards the left side again. As now there are 2 strikes on Salvatore.
I think that was my worst ever, 50 or 60. It was pretty bad.
That's atrocious.
It was like back-to-back games. I think I had like 4 or 5 straight misses altogether.
I think I played once before I left here for the camp. I had like my first game was about a 75, and I just couldn't believe I had bowled so bad. I literally couldn't hit anything. I couldn't hit a duck anywhere,
Well, you would know that you'd done better than I did.
0-2 pitch to Salvatore's line right over towards these stands out on the right side of the hill, and that was a sharp foul ball that was tailing over towards the spectator area as the count remains 0-2. So count is no balls in, 2 strikes on Salvatore. The shortstop this evening got the start yesterday over at short as the 0-2 pitch of Salvatore bounces there. Good stop by the catcher. Debo looking to throw down. And that's what we've said about Debo this whole year. He's a guy that's been a great defensive catcher. Now the bat's starting to come around as well. You see right there where he bounces that ball, able to scoop it up, and then all of a sudden be like a cat back there and jump to his feet. And if anything, he can throw it down a second or first as the 1-2 pitch is tipped back into the screen behind home plate. Count remains 1-2. And that's what you want as a catcher if you're going to major league level. A catcher that can be really versatile back there and athletic. 1-2 pitch to Derek. Curveball is lined down the left field line with a foul as it goes into the Harwich bullpen area. It's just a bit early on that one was Salvatore, and that looked like maybe a curveball that was left up a little bit.
You mentioned hit over towards the Harwich Mariners bullpen area. Michael Beeline is warming up for the Mariners, and not only that, the pitch count has started to get very high on Tom Suterez. When we were talking with Matheson, we mentioned pitch count right around 85 is where the Mariners coaching staff keeps it. And Suterez is all the way up at 87, so just a matter of time probably before he will have faced his last batter.
A 1-2 pitch to Salvatore is popped up on the air towards the right side. The right fielder Rivera shitting over to the right field liner. He throws it back and is tagging to third is Humphreys. So Humphreys is in there standing up over at third as the ball was cut off by the shortstop Andre Lipsius. So now there is 1 out in the inning, but Humphreys is able to advance towards third base. There runs on the corners with 1 out. That's a big gap as well, and a nice job by Humphreys able to tag over there, but there is a double play ball still could be thrown here.
Well, Brad Debo's going to have a visit to the mound, and here comes Coach Englert. Has not yet motioned over to Michael Beeline, but I'd have to think this would do it as he closes in on 90 pitches. There have been a few times when Coach Englert has talked with the starting pitcher and the starting pitcher has convinced him to stay in the ballgame. I don't think this will be one of those situations. A lot of the times when the pitcher can convince him to stay in the game, It's when the base paths are empty and 2 outs, and just try to get that one last out. It's not going to happen here. Michael Beeline trotting in from the bullpen. So Coach Englert makes the pitching change from White House Field. Will step aside in the top half of the 5th inning. It's 3-0 Katuitt. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
And welcome back inside White House Field here in the top half of the 5th inning with 1 out runners in the corners. 3-0 Kettler's lead there. Looking to strike again, and Tom Sutera's evening is done, and giving way is now Michael Beeline of NC State. He'll throw to his battery mate Brad Debo. So 2 NC State guys doing the catching and the pitching this evening for the Mariners as of right now. And Beeline is making his 9th appearance on the season. He is 0-1 with a 4.42 ERA. He has 1 save to his credit, 18 in a third innings pitched, 14 hits, 9 run, 9 earned, 8 walks, and 13 punch-outs.
Yeah, he's been all right this year. He's had an up-and-down season. He's had a number of appearances where he's gone maybe 4 innings or 3 innings and allowed 1 or 2 runs in that time frame. He has not allowed more than 2 runs in any appearance. And he's had some good ones. He was very good versus Hyannis. 3 innings. He only faced 9 batters. He also was very strong versus Brewster. 3 innings. Only faced 11 batters. Allowed just a couple of hits. So he has had appearances where he's looked really good.
Face off against the number 5 hitter over at first base, Michael Tollier. Takes a first pitch fastball on the black part of the outside corner for strike 1. Tollier digs back in from left side. Digs back foot in towards the back edge of the batter's box. 1 pitch to Tollier. This is low and outside for ball 1. Count is now 1 ball and 1 strike on Tollier. Tollier out of UCLA. Finished second on the team back at UCLA in walks and home runs. As he throws over towards, or Beeline throws over towards first base to check on the runner Dillard over there at first. Tollier did play for Katuitt last year. A .248 with 7 home runs and 27 runs driven in. As the 1-1 pitch is swung on and fouled back to the screen behind home plate for strike 2. Count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tolley's average this year has dipped just a bit at 187, and he has had 3 home runs and 11 RBIs this summer for the Kettleers. So he's a returning player. As the 1-2 pitch is lifted out over the fence area. On the third base side this time, the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And Tollier was a 35th round draft pick back in 2016. He was a very highly touted prospect. And he's played well at UCLA. He had a .261 batting average his freshman year, .336 his sophomore year.
1-2 pitch to Tollier. Outside corner, strike 3 call. Beeline strikes out Tollier. There are 2 outs in the inning with runners on the corners. And as Beeline comes in to try to strand those runners, especially the more important one over at third base, Humphreys.
Yeah, crucial strikeout on Tolia. It's been a tough season for Tolia so far on Cape Cod. Last year on Cape Cod, he had a 240 batting average for Katuitt. And he struck out quite a bit. Over 1/3 of his at-bats were strikeouts last season. And this season, he has struggled to get some base hits, hitting under 200.
So now the first pitch to the third baseman, Brady Smith, is fouled at the plate for strike one. Of course, Smith out of the University of Florida. It was 2 years removed from a national championship down there in Gainesville. Made it back to Omaha this year, but just couldn't quite make it to the final. Of course, Jonathan India played for Harwich last year on that same Florida team, as the 0-1 pitch runs low and outside for ball one. Count as 1 ball and 1 strike. Jonathan India, first round draft pick this year. So 1 ball, 1 strike is the count on Smith. 2 outs, runners in the corners here in the top of the 5th, 3-0 Kettleers lead. One curveball bounce, and they're good stop by the catcher, Debo. Able to drop the body and get down and get it, as the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Carroll's looking at a few more here in this inning. Harwich trying to thwart this effort as Beeline throws back on a first to check on Dillard. So 2 balls, 1 strike is the count on Smith. Beeline kicks and fires as the 2-1 pitch is in at the knees for strike 2. Count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Smith not a fan of the call. Looks back at the home plate umpire.
That ball right in at the knees is a tough call, but home plate umpire Bill Haynes gives Beeline the benefit of the doubt on that call.
And Mike Roberts shouting over from the third base coach's box. Some words towards the home plate umpire. No thing. He knows that it was a ball. As a 2-2 pitch right towards second base is Dillard, and swung on a miss and into the mid of Brad Devo, and just like that, Michael Beeline comes on for the Harwich Manners, able to strike out next to Katuitt Kettleers hitters, and first guy out of the dugout is Tom Sutera to thank things for Beeline. And as of right now, Mike Roberts is carrying on right now.
And he's lucky he hasn't been thrown out of this ball game, because he can't argue balls and strikes. That's exactly what he's doing here. You cannot argue balls and strikes, and he remains in this ball game. He is really lucky he hasn't been thrown out yet.
Well, he's still carrying on this time with the third base umpire, Vincent Alexander Medina, stepping in, and that's also a big appearance too, because that strike call ended up changing the outcome of the at-bat if it was, in fact, a ball or a strike, depending on.
And well done by the third base umpire, Vincente Alexander Medina, to go out and have a chat with Roberts. You don't have to do that, but, he's stepping in, taking the pressure off the home plate umpire, letting him speak with somebody who the manager doesn't feel is at fault in this situation, and it's explaining to him from a bit of an objective point of view what the reasoning is. So looks like that will do it. Let's see if he's gonna stay in this ball game, although he continues to shout. And he's going to remain in the ball game. To be honest, he's quite lucky that he remains in this game.
Yeah, good job by the third base umpire to defuse the situation. So hanging to the bottom of the 5th, 3-0 Kettleers lead after 4.5. You listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Manners Radio Network. And welcome back inside beautiful White House Field. Sun really starting to set here. A nice little skyline out in right field as the first pitch to Gary Rivera swung on and slow roller over towards first base side. Tolia feels it throw on, flip on to the pitcher. Collins records the out for number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out to start things off. We're in the bottom of the 5th for the Kettleers as they lead the Mariners by a score of 3-0. And which was an RB, 2 RBIs double for Thomas Stillard back in the 3rd inning, and then it was an RBI single off the bat of Corey Wood, the second baseman, in the 4th. So that is how the Killers have scored all their runs today. So Rivera bounces out for the first time this inning, 0 for 2 so far. As first pitch to Nykoff, curveball from the left-handed Collins is in there for strike 1. Nykoff so far is 0 for 1. Last time he played right back here at White House Field, he hit a home run as a 1-pitch bounces in. Good snap on the catcher, Humphreys. Throws it back to Collins. Count is now 1 ball to 1 strike. Wyckoff out of the University of Virginia. 1-1 pitch is cut on a miss as foul tipped into Humphreys. Mid count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mariners so far have unable to scratch across a run against Collins. Only 2 hits to this point.
And Collins has kept his pitch count very far down, just 61 total pitches thrown.
1-2 curveball just misses the outside corner. Count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Was a good-looking curveball from Collins, but just didn't quite catch the outside corner. The 2-2 pitch is lofted over the press box area and out of play. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Connor, I think after this inning you should probably sit, okay, bud? I'm gonna have Connor come back and do it after this inning, okay?
Collins from the windup with a 2-2 pitch to Wyckoff. Strike 3 call outside corner. Wyckoff goes down looking for the first time this evening as there are quickly 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Collins has been dealing so far to this point.
That was not a call I liked. I'm in agreement with Nate Eichhoff there, and I'm going to play this very objectively too again. But I didn't see that as a strike. I saw that as low and outside, and he gets called out on strike by Bill Haynes.
First pitch, curveball to the leadoff Veritana Morse. Misses inside, a little bit high for ball 1. Collins working quickly from the windup as the 1-0 pitch is lined out towards right field. In for a base hit as it drops in front of the right fielder Robinson. And Tanner Morris is aboard for the first time this evening as he picks up the Mariners' 3rd hit. Looks to try to get a 2-out rally going on for the Mariners here in the home half of the 5th inning.
It's all about chipping away at this point. Mariners are only down 3 runs, but every single time they can get a runner into scoring position, they're going to take that. And so I wouldn't be at all surprised to see someone like Tanner Morris, who has some speed, try to steal second base and put himself into scoring position in the bottom of the 5th inning. See if Brett Norman can try to drive him in.
First hit to Ben Norman is lifted towards Lacey, towards the left field line. The left fielder, Ellis chasing on, able to make the grab on the run. Easier play for a lefty. I think what's made the difference there for Ellis out in left field. Duke Ellis takes the hit away from Ben Norman. And just like that, Morris is left stranded over on the base paths. And after 5, it is a 3-0 Kettleers lead over the Harwich Mariners. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. 3-0 lead for the Kettlers here in the top half of the sixth inning. As let's get back to work here. Facing the right-handed pitcher, Michael Beeline, came out for Sutera last inning. The first pitch to Duke Ellis is lifted high in the air towards the left field line. Giving chase is Norman, but will find the seats out there down the left field line for strike one. Ellis so far is 1 for 2. He singled back in the fourth, came all around to score. Off the bat of Corey Wood, who played it the third run this evening. So no balls, 1 strike is the count. Pitch from to Wood is grounded hard over towards the shortstop Lipsy. He takes a step, hard throw over to first base, retires Duke Ellis for the first out. Here in the away half of the sixth inning, there is quickly 1 out.
And nice job by Michael Beeline entering this game. He looked very good in his first inning of work back in the top of the 5th inning, and he worked out of a jam that Tom Sutera had worked him into. And he did a really nice job. Didn't allow a single run. There were runners on the corners with 1 out. He managed to work out of that jam. And again, Michael Beeline has looked really good to start things off in the top of the 6th inning as well. So we'll have to see how deep he'll go in this game and if he can continue to pitch so well.
First pitch to Payne Burdick, broken bat over towards Shunk. Shunk fields it, and off the bag was Eichhoff for a second, reapplies his right foot, and Burdick is retired. As 2 up, 2 down so far for Beeline in this half inning. He's done a nice job to really steady the ship here for the Mariners.
Number 2, the second baseman from Coastal Carolina, Corey Wood.
And now with 2 outs is the second baseman, Corey Wood. Well, it's been hard to keep off the base paths this evening. He is 2 for 2 with a double and a single. First pitch to Wood is at the knees for strike 1. And before yesterday's game, Wood was 1 for 3 with a run with an RBI. And before yesterday's game, he was 2 for 3 with 2 runs. I remember that he had 2 singles in that one game. But it was right back here at White House Field. So he's had some success against the Mariners this season as the 0-1 pitch misses for ball 1. It counts 1 ball and 1 strike. Beeline from the windup, the 1-1 pitch to Wood. Pitch just misses up in the zone for ball 2. 2-1 is the count on the second baseman, Wood out of Coastal Carolina. So nobody on it, 2 outs here for the Kettleers. 3-0 lead in favor of Katuitt. 2-1 pitch. Runs inside. Looks like it might have hit off Brad Devo's mid or the umpire. Anyhow, it is a ball. To it so far, 3 runs on 6 hits, no errors. Mariners, no runs, 3 hits, 1 error. Reads a scoreboard out in right center field. 3 balls, 1 strike. The pitch from Beeline is high in the air as it's flying out towards straightaway center. Matt Gorski, the center fielder, moves back about a step. He'll make the catch for out number 3. So 1-2-3 inning work for Michael Beeline and the Harwich Mariners. As after 5.5, Mariners try to get the bats going. As a Kettlers lead the Mariners by a score of 3-0. Listed Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And we'll go back inside White House Field for the home half of the sixth inning as the 3-4-5 hitters, the harder lineup for the Mariners due up. Aaron Chunk will start things off from the right side. We're down to a fielder's choice and fly it out as the first pitch skips in to the catcher, Humphreys, for ball one from a fastball from Zane Collins.
Yeah, this is an important inning for the Harwich Mariners. They have, again, 4 innings left to go, but they have to come back and score 3 runs in those innings.
As the 1-0 pitch is ripped in the hole between short and third, diving play by Salvatore. And that'll go down as a base hit as he fouled the ball for a second and threw over towards first base, but it was a hard hit ball in the hole, and I'm surprised Salvatore was able to get down. He stretched out his body and just got enough piece of it to stop the ball.
And clearly a base hit there. The shortstop Salvatore tried to dive over towards his third base side. And he got a piece of the glove on it, and he couldn't get all of it. And he was able to toss over to first base, not even close to try to get Shunk over at first. And a runner on first base in the bottom of the 6th inning, no outs. Andre Lipsius coming to the plate. Pitching change from White House Field as that will do it for Zane Collins' night. So we'll step aside and sort out the details when we come back. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
And we'll go back as the new pitcher for the Katuitt Killers is Deacon Metters as he tries to hold this 3-0 lead for the Killers after the leadoff single by Aaron Shunk. So no outs here, and Shunk over at first base as Zane Collins' night is done. He pitched an excellent game so far as he gave the Killers a chance to win this evening. Let's see if the Mariners can try to claw things back. Collins 5 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no earned, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts.
He is still responsible for the runner on first base, but one way or another, whether that run comes in or not, it was an outstanding night tonight with the start from Zane Collins. Again, 5 innings. If you don't allow a single earned run in 5 innings and just the 4 hits, he did allow a couple of walks, but 5 strikeouts. He looked really, really good, and he shut down these Mariners bats entirely after a really, really big night for the Mariners last night.
First pitch to the cleanup hitter, Andre Lipsius, is spotted at the knees for strike one. Lipsius, who has not been able to be kept off base so far, walked and has singled in this game as the 0-1 pitch to Lipsius is swung on and tailing out towards right center field. Gapel dropping for a base hit as is rolling towards the fence. Shunk around second base. Coach Pascarosa holds him up at third base, and just like that, the second pitch that Lipsius sees, he puts it out in the alley and towards right center. As now the Mariners have 2 men on in scoring position now.
Well, it's another really good piece of hitting off the bat of Andre Lipsius, and he is absolutely red hot at the plate right now. He has been on base each of his last 7 times at the plate. 4 for 4 yesterday, 2 for 2 with a walk tonight, and now a double. 2 runners in scoring position. The Mariners cut the deficit to 1 with a simple base hit.
Danny Casal's first pitch curveball is in there for a strike from Deacon Metters.
I think at this point it is crucial that the Mariners can get these 2 runs in, whether it's with a base hit, whether it's with a couple of sac flies or ground balls, one way or another, they have to find a way to bring these 2 runners home.
Mariners left 5 men on base so far as the 0-1 curveball that skips in the dirt is swung on and missed by Casals. So count is now no balls and 2 strikes on the second baseman out of Maine. Casals had an RBI in yesterday's game. He could do the same here with either, you mentioned before, a sac fly or a single. 0-2 pitch to Casals. Bounces third, gets away from the catcher. Humphreys coming towards home plate as Shunky's in standing up. As the Mariners are now on the board here in the bottom half of the 6th inning as a pitch that got away from Humphreys.
Well, that is a big run that comes home for the Harwich Mariners for a couple of reasons. First of all, that takes the pressure off of Danny Casals because no longer does he need to drive in this run. You know, it would be nice if he drove in the run and tied, made this a 3-2 game, but now they can still trade a run with an out if he's not able to get the job done with Matt Gorski on deck. So that's really...
As a 0-2 pitch to, or 1-2 pitch to Casals is in between the hole between second or shortstop and third, and just like that, Andre Lipschitz comes in to score. And Casals picks up an RBI single, as now the Kettleers only lead by a score of 3-2 over the Harwich Mariners, and the Mariners bats have come alive now that Zane Collins has exited in this game.
Well, I was going to say that it gave the Mariners the all-important first run with a pass ball in addition to making it so his job wasn't quite as tough. Well, he drives in the run with a base hit nonetheless, so a runner on first base. Mariners played 2 runs in the inning, and they're still alive. They still have an opportunity to add yet another one. So that the 1 run does go against Zane Collins. And again, you know, the inherited runners rule is something I have talked about a fair amount on this broadcast. It's not something I like. When you leave a runner on first base and the reliever comes in, you know, I'm not quite sure that should go against the starter, just the runner on first. But nonetheless, Collins will be charged with the 1 earned run, and Metters, since entering, has allowed 2 base hits. It was a double from Lipsius, and then the wild pitch and the RBI single.
As the 1-0 pitch to Gorski off the end of the knob of the bat and fouled out a play for strike 1. Count is now 1 ball and 1 strike on Gorski as Casals stands on first base. 2 runs across for the Mariners this half inning here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 3-2 Kettleers lead though, but Mariners Metters was a guy coming in that was very consistent as Gorski bunts the 1-1 pitch over towards first base towards Tolia. Tolia will go field it himself and step on first as Gorski is beat just barely over at first base and advancing towards second. It's Casals as Tolia had no chance at trying to get the double play, so just got the easiest out, and that was over at first base.
There was a whole cluster of players over towards first base with Tolia, Wood, and Metters all over there towards first base trying to make a play on that ball, and I couldn't tell which one ended up fielding it and who stepped on the bag because they were all right there next to each other, but one way or another, one of them was able to touch the bag before Matt Gorski was able to get over there, but it's an effective sacrifice bunt and gets the tying run into scoring position.
First pitch to the catcher, Brad Debo, misses for ball 1. Debo has a big RBI spot here. He's 0 for 2 this evening. He does have 4 runs driven in and on the season for the Mariners so far. Now the righty-lefty matchup, Casals off a second, the 1-0 pitch. A 1-0 pitch dips into the zone for a strike on the outer half of the play. Count as 1 ball and 1 strike on Debo.
And shows really good resilience from these Harwich Mariners bats to try to fight back in this game. And they've given themselves an opportunity to come back and tie it in the bottom of the 6th.
1-0 pitch to Debo just misses the outside corner for ball 2. As counts out 2 balls and 1 strike. So Metters, as we mentioned before, struggled as he has come on here for Zane Collins. 2 runs across as the 2-1 off-speed pitch again misses the outside corner. Count now runs to 3 balls and 1 strike. He's been trying to nibble out that outside corner, but just hasn't found it yet. It is Metters, and Debo has been very patient at the plate and not chasing balls down the zone. Casals off a second. Metters looks back and now fire towards someone with a 3-1 pitch is fouled off. Debo at the plate, fouled off his hip area. As now the count runs full at 3-2. So a Debo single here could tie things up with Casals over at second. Which I would think heading into the later half of the game, it would be the momentum all in favor of the Mariners having scored 3 runs here in the 6th. As a 3-2 pitch is swung on a chase in the dirt as Debo runs towards first base as it gets away from the catcher Humphreys. And that's a strikeout. And however, he reaches over at first base as he gets away from the catcher Humphreys. And Casals advances toward third base now with runners on the corners and only one out.
It works out to the benefit of Brad Debo. You know, he could have swung on that ball. He could have let it go. One way or another, he finds himself at first base. Only difference is what it's going to go down in the score sheet. One goes down as a strikeout, the other as a walk. But he finds himself at first base nonetheless, and the Mariners have runners on the corners with one out. And they've got the tying run 90 feet away, and not only do they have the tying run 90 feet away, but they can still trade a run with an out. A sac fly could tie this game, and the Mariners continue to hit the ball very well in the bottom of the sixth inning. They get a lucky break here.
As the assistant coach Jerry Weinstein comes out, talk things over with his right-hander Mariners. There is a pitcher up in the Katuitt bullpen. As the home plate umpire Bill Haynes will go out to try to break up the conference out on the mound. As if you missed this sixth inning, it's been a very eventful one for the Mariners as they have scored 2 runs off the pitch that got away from the catcher as Shunk came in to score, and then Lipsius scored on the RBI single from Danny Casals.
Yeah, this is go from the very first hitter. It was a single from Shunk, a double from Lipsius. There was second and third no outs, an RBI single from Casals. And that scored a run as well as a run coming home on a wild pitch. And then it was a sacrifice bunt from Gorski, advanced Casals to second. And then the strikeout and the drop third strike, Devo advancing to first, Casals over to third.
First pitch to Guy Rivera. Curveball misses up and inside. 1-0 curveball is in there at the belt for a strike one. Count is now 1-1 strike on Rivera.
Well, Guy Rivera had a huge day at Fenway back on Monday, hitting 5 home runs in batting practice. And not only that, but he hit the ball yesterday well, had a nice double.
As the 1-1 pitch is laced in the hole between short and third base. And just like that, this game is tied up as Danny Casals will trot in to score from third base. And that's an RBI single off the bat of Gabe Rivera. And this game is tied. Runners advance and now runners on first and second with still one out. And it's been a rough outing for Deacon Metters. As now Jerry Weinstein will trot out towards the pitcher's mound. And that will do it for Metters. He has given up quite a few runs. He's given up 2 runs in this inning. One was charged to Zane Collins as he left the game after pitching 5+ innings. So this game is tied at 3 apiece. A new pitcher on the mound will sort out all the facts, and we'll be right back. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. And welcome back inside White House Field as the Mariners have played it across 3 runs in this half inning in the bottom of the 6th. The game is tied up now. Mariners still looking to get a couple more with Debo out on second base. And over at first base, Guy Rivera who just drove in Casals off a third. And the call the bullpen. The Kettleers will bring on the left-hander, the southpaw out of Boston College, a local kid out of Plymouth, Massachusetts, just off the Cape. As he comes in to try to settle things here for the Kettleers as the Mariners look to get a couple more.
Yeah, and it's been an okay season so far for Joseph Walsh. He's been up and down. Allowed 18 hits in 12 innings of work, but he's had good control. Only walked 1 batter in those 12 innings. He's allowed 9 earned runs, so the ERA is pretty high at 6.75. We'll have to see how he can do against this Harwich Mariners lineup. He comes in with a couple runners on base and just 1 out.
So Mariners is responsible for the 2 runners on as there's now the number 9 hitter, Nate Eichhoff, who swings at the first pitch and bloops one out towards above the leaping shortstop. Salvatore drops into center field for a base. It is a throw into third base. Gets away from the third baseman, Smith, and in safely diving in is Brad Devo on a pitch or a ball that was almost caught by the shortstop Salvatore. He went full extension out just above the second base bag and just couldn't quite make it. So that's a single for Nate Eichhoff as he picks up his first hit this evening, and now the bases are juiced with one out in this inning, and the Mariners are really looking to maybe not only take this lead, but get himself a nice little margin here.
Yeah, a couple of things there. First of all, Nate Eichhoff extends his hitting streak to 6 games. He's now 9 for his last 24 at the plate, looking great up there. Second of all, nice bloop single just over the head of the shortstop in that situation, Salvatore, who almost made a play on the ball, and then the center fielder, Burdick, coming in and throwing over to third base. Brad Debo had to be pretty close to the bag because if Salvatore had made the play, he would have had to step back on second base. So a lucky turn of events for the Harwich Mariners and a nice piece of hitting from Eichhoff.
One pitch is curveball swung in the dirt and going fishing down the dirt is Morris. Count is now quickly 0-2 on the leadoff hitter out of Virginia.
And I was talking to Chris Galland and Jordan Green before the game about home runs and singles and what's a rally stopper and what's not.
0-2 pitch, cut on a miss. And down on strikes goes Tanner Morris on 3 pitches. That's a big strikeout from Walsh. Is now coming to play now is Ben Norman.
As I was talking to, saying with Chris Galland and Jordan Green, what's a rally stopper, what's not? They were saying home runs oftentimes can be rally stoppers. It's the home run, and that'll do it for the inning. But what's been great for the Harwich Mariners is they've been getting base hit after base hit after base hit. They haven't needed the homers, and 5 hits in the inning. They've been able to plate 3 runs, and you add in the drop third strike, and the Harwich Mariners have had 6 base runners and plated 3 over 8 batters.
So now his left fielder out Ben Norman. He hits one high in the air towards right fielder, right at the right fielder, Robertson. So Norman gets a good piece of wood on that one. But Joe Walsh is able to strike out Morris and then get Norman to fly out. So the Mariners lead the bases loaded, but they do score 3 runs here in the home half of the 6th inning. Game is now not up at 3 at the end of 6. Listen to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network.
Top of the 7th inning from White House Field, the Harwich Mariners battled back in the bottom half of the 6th inning to tie the game at 3-3. Leading things off in the top of the 7th is the left-handed hitter Will Robertson. First pitch from Michael Beeline. Fastball in the outside corner for strike 1, and the count no balls and 1 strike. And a change behind the plate. Logan Driscoll is the new catcher for the Harwich Mariners. The 0-1 pitch Fastball runs a little bit inside, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. So Beeline's thrown just 21 pitches through an inning and 2/3. Had good control, 14 strikes, 7 balls. And he's been able to get these outs really quickly as the 1-1 pitch misses outside, count 2-1. A little awkward to see Debo coming out of tonight's game because Debo, NC State, Beeline also NC State, pitching and catch, they probably have a pretty good chemistry together as the 2-1 delivery is swung on and fouled off towards the bleachers over the Harwich Mariners dugout. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now Debo was on base earlier in that last inning on the drop third strike he reached. The 2-2 from Beeline. This is just inside with the fastball, and the count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
We'll have to see if the Katuitt Killers will try to battle back and maybe get across the run to regain this lead, having lost it here in the bottom of the 6th.
The 3-2 pitch from Beeline. Swung on and missed. Will Robertson goes down, swinging to start the top of the 7th. He works a deep count versus Michael Beeline, but it looked like an off-speed pitch with just a little bit of break down at the knees, and Robertson swings right over it for the first out of the inning.
It's hard to stay in against a pitcher for so long, especially pitchers here on the Cape. Every player is talented here and is here for one reason, that's to go to the next level and play in the major leagues.
Well, Beeline has thrown 25 pitches and has pitched a full 2 innings now as the first pitch is a breaking ball in there for strike 1 on Zach Humphreys. Humphreys is the catcher, right-handed hitter. So 1 for 3 on the evening. The 0-1 delivery. Swung on, a line drive to right field. Heading back is the right fielder Rivera, who makes the catch in front of the wall for the second out of the inning. A hard hit ball off the bat of Zach Humphreys. Goes the other way with it, but a nice job by the outfielder Gabe Rivera to make that catch.
Yeah, it was kind of off the end of the barrel almost. Just was a little hard-headed carrying back, but Rivera patrolling out there in right field and made the grab for out number 2. So far, so good. Well, the Mariners here. Beeline's come on and really done a nice job. Has not a lot of hit in 2 2/3 innings, in 2 2/3 innings pitch.
And the first pitch is swung on and missed from Thomas Dillard. Count no balls and 1 strike as Beeline flew a fastball by him upstairs. And once again, Thomas Dillard has 1 hit in tonight's contest. This would be 11 straight games if he does not get a hit again, where he would have registered exactly 1 hit. As the pitch runs inside on Dillard, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. He's 1 for 2 with a double and a walk. The 1-1 delivery. Swung on and missed in the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. I'm not the only one I'm not crazy here, right? Have you ever seen a streak like this where exactly 1 hit in 11 straight games? That's not too common.
Kind of rare.
Beeline gets a sign from Driscoll. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball. Ooh, that one just missed. Ooh, I thought one looked awfully good on the outside corner, but the home plate umpire, Bill Haynes, says it's a ball, and Thomas Dillard stays alive at the plate.
Yeah, Logan Driscoll's ready to go in towards the home dugout area, and
I have to admit, I thought that was strike 3.
good looking pitch. Thought it caught the outside corner, but did not, says Bill Haynes, the home plate umpire.
The 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses low below the knees. It's strike 3. Now that one was below the knees. I cannot say I agree with the home plate umpire, Bill Haynes, on either of those last 2 pitches. The first one was probably a strike. That was on the outer half of the plate. And then that last one was way out of the zone. I say missing by 4 or 5 inches. I don't know what Bill Haynes was looking at. Nonetheless, it's a strikeout. And that will end the top half of the 7th inning. Would you agree with me?
I thought the other pitch was better looking, but I don't know. Mike Roberts, of course, he walked right over to him. No one having an exchange of words. And
well, that'll do it for the top of the 7th. We head to the 7th inning stretch. It's a 3-3 ball game from White House Field. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Bottom of the 7th inning. We're done with the 7th inning stretch. It's a 3-3 ball game from White House Field. Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner Thomas Zanzarella. We're glad to have you with us this evening for what has turned into quite a good ball game between these two teams as Aaron Shunk steps in from the right side. First pitch from Walsh is swung on and off his inner ankle, right where the pad is though, and the count 0-1. Katuitt scored 2 runs in the top of the 3rd and added another one in the top of the 4th. They led this game 3-0 until the bottom of the 6th inning when the Mariners responded with 3 of their own. The 0-1 pitch to Shunk. Fastball misses outside in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Wow, Katuitt bench down there is very vehemently in just disapproval of the home plate umpire's ball strike so far.
1-1 pitch misses outside in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. You know, I really don't blame them. You know, this zone has sort of been all over the place from Bill Haynes. We don't normally like to criticize an umpire like that, but you know, there have been pitches sort of all over the place. 2-1 pitch swung on and fouled off, and you mentioned the manager Roberts was having a number of words with the home plate umpire after a call he didn't like. I think that most of the calls have probably gone against Katuitt, but you know, they've sort of been all over the place all night long. The 2-2 pitch to Shunk. This is low in the dirt, and the count runs full at 3-2.
And now I think anything that's going to be close is going to be 50-50. You know, Roberts will have something to say if it goes against him once more.
He may come out and try to argue. And the 3-2 pitch is swung on, a ground ball up the middle, but second baseman Wood ranging over, fielding it and throwing it to first for the first out of the inning. It looked like it was headed towards center field, but a nice job by Wood, ranging over towards second base, and making the play and flipping over to first base for the first out of the bottom of the 7th inning.
He was shedding more over towards the up the middle side, more towards second base, and that's where second baseman plays a little bit more.
Andre Lipsius digs in from the right side. The first pitch to Lipsius runs inside for ball 1. Now Lipsius has reached base 7 consecutive times, going back to yesterday, where he was 4 for 4, and then 2 for 2 tonight with a walk. The 1-0 pitch to Lipsius. This is in the dirt, count 2 balls and no strikes.
We'll see if Lipsius can stay red hot at the plate. So far has reached base in all 3 appearances.
2-0 delivery. This is inside in the count, 3 balls and 2 balls and 1 strike. And the 2-1 delivery to Lipsius. This is low and outside in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike.
This is big here. Lipsius has been in a hitter's count. Is really this whole at bat, so we'll see on 3-1 what Walsh will throw Lipsius. Don't think it'll be anything close.
3-1 pitch swung on, a high pop-up over towards right field. Robertson moving over towards the right field line. He makes a catch, and finally, the Katuitt Kettleers pitching staff is able to record an out versus Andre Lipsius. He is 6 for 6 tonight coming into that at bat versus this Katuitt pitching staff the last 2 days. And now 6 for 7, but still outstanding.
This is a Katuitt pitching staff that has given out the second most hits, only behind Bruce, and the second most home runs in the league with 23.
First pitch in there for strike 1 against Danny Casals. Count no balls and 1 strike. Bottom of the 7th inning, a 3-3 game. With 2 outs, base paths are empty. The 0-1 delivery. Bounce was before home plate, and the count 1-1. Casals digs back in from the right side. Has a base hit already tonight, and an RBI to go along with it. The 1-1 pitch is swung on, a chopper over towards third base. Third baseman Smith fields and throws across the diamond for the final out of the 7th inning. After 7 innings of play, it's the Mariners 3 and the Kettleers 3. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top half of the 8th inning from White House Field. It's a 3-3 ball game as the Harwich Mariners scored 3 in the bottom of the 6th to tie the game. Tuitt struck first. And new pitcher for the Harwich Mariners replacing Michael Beeline is George Kirby out of Eline. And Kirby looked very good his last time out versus Brewster.
Yeah, Kirby so far is 0-1 with a 2.84. He pitched back in Wareham on the 15th and then Brewster on the 12th. 2 scoreless innings there. Last give up a run back in at YD, and only 2 runs he's given up was against Chatham and YD, so the top 2 teams in the East not too shabby.
First pitch to Michael Salvatore is a fastball, blows it right by him, and the count 0-1. We've seen Kirby throw really hard as 95, 96. That's what he was throwing versus Brewster. The 0-1 pitch, fastball on the outside corner again for strike 2. Now, interesting situation. Beeline comes out of the game after going 2 2/3 innings. He was incredibly efficient through just 32 pitches in those 2 2/3 innings of work. I thought he looked outstanding.
It was definitely outstanding, I think.
Then the 0-2 pitch is swung on, a line drive into left field for a base hit through the hole between shortstop and third. The leadoff runner is on for the Cotuit Kettleers in the top of the 8th inning.
Yeah, I think his pitch count just getting a little higher up for middle reliever, and then going through the order the second time around might cause some problems. So Coach Edgar opted to go to the bullpen, and George Kirby, who's been outstanding this year as well, and that's also been another nice point for the Mariners this year, as their bullpen has been excellent. There have been a couple of hiccups, but I mean, so far they've been pitching excellent.
And Michael Tolia, first baseman, steps in from the left side. Again, Tolia had an outstanding year at UCLA, and we haven't quite seen it come through on Cape Cod as he squares around a bunt and pulls back as the first pitch misses low for ball 1.
Looks like it too wants to play a little small ball here and advance Salvatore over towards second base and maybe manufacture run that way, especially into the later half of this game now.
Well, I'd support that decision if you're with Cotuit. You don't have that many opportunities to score a run late in this ball game. If you can get a runner into scoring position with 1 out, you're going to take that, as the 1-0 pitch is a fastball at the knees for strike 1. Despite the fact Kirby allowed the hit, he's been pounding the zone nicely with the fastball, and it looks like he's got good velocity. And he fires over to first base. Check on the runner Salvatore, who heads back over to first base easily. The 1-1 pitch squaring around a bunt, but missing upstairs, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike on Tolia. And Tolia struggling. It makes sense. He's going to try to square around and bunt. You know, he's just hitting under 180. And if they can take an at-bat from him in which he's able to advance a base runner, I'm sure Cotuit would be more than happy to accept that. Tossing back over to first and diving back in safely is Salvatore. Top of the 8th inning, 3-3. Runner on first base, no out. Squaring around a bunt again, the 2-1 pitch. And it's down the third base line, fielded by Driscoll. Throw over to first, it's in time. That was a nice job, a nice bunt from Tolia, bunting it down the third base line. And Driscoll threw off his mask and wanted to get that ball immediately and was able to make a throw over to first base. And it was a one-hopper as Eichhoff made a nice pick to prevent that ball from getting by him. So 1 out, top of the 8th inning, a runner on second now. Game is 3-3 as Brady Smith.
A really nice job there by Eichhoff to scoop that ball in the dirt. It's always a tough play, and especially a bang-bang play over at first base, and Eichhoff picks that one off the dirt area. Nice job by Eichhoff, especially a guy that's not an everyday first baseman.
Well, he's been outstanding in his utility role. He's played first, second, a little bit of third, and left field as well. First pitch in there for a strike on the outside corner on Brady Smith. Salvatore leads off second base. 1 out. The 0-1 pitch from Kirby. Swung on and fouled back to the backstop in the count 0-2. And he's using that fastball very effectively once again, throwing it very hard. He's able to pound the zone with it because, especially with the wooden bats, to shorten up that swing a little bit. But not only that, he's been able to throw it with such velocity that these Katuitt hitters haven't been able to catch up to it.
Especially then, you can really make guys look silly when he throws that off-speed pitch. Guys expecting the fastball, all of a sudden he drops in a 75-mile-an-hour curveball. Can really make things very difficult for a hitter.
And the 0-2 pitch swung on, a ground ball over to second. Casals trouble fielding again, throws the first, and it's in time. And Danny Casals having trouble out in the field. His second time a ball has come up on him, and he's had a hard time fielding it. But a nice job recovering. You do have to give him credit for recovering. A lot of guys, after making that mistake, would give up on the play. He doesn't do that. He gets back down. He picks up the ball, throws over to first base, and it's in time to get Brady Smith. So 2 outs. Top of the 8th inning, a runner just 90 feet away for the Katuitt Kettleers. A 3-3 game. As Duke Ellis out of Tennessee steps in from the left side. You think that would make a nice name to go to Duke, but plays in the SEC. First pitch, I beg your pardon, Texas. The orange threw me off. I thought I saw his orange tee and the orange uniforms, and I thought Tennessee, but Texas.
More of a burnt orange down there in Texas, and he's a little bit different, almost very similar, but
the 0-1 pitch swung on and missed. Another big fastball from Kirby, and he blows it right by Duke Ellis. Runner on third base, 2 outs. 0-2 count on Ellis. Mariners looking to get out of this inning. Ellis looking to give the Katuitt Kettleers a lead. The 0-2. Swung on and missed. A fastball up and out of the zone, and Kirby strikes him out. An outstanding inning from Kirby after allowing a leadoff single to come back and get and mow down these Katuitt hitters. The end of 7.5 innings of play. It is the Mariners 3 and the Kettleers 3. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Bottom of the 8th inning from White House Field, a 3-3 ball game. Austin Rooney alongside Thomas and Zarella. We're glad to have you with us this evening as Matt Gorski digs his back foot into the right-hander's batter's box. First pitch to Gorski. Breaking ball cut on and missed in the count 0-1. Now, Matt Gorski is hitting the ball very well recently. Gorski has a 9-game hitting streak going all the way back to July 1st. He's hitting .400 during this streak. The 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball cut on and missed again from Gorski. In the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Gorski is just 0 for 1. He walked his last time up, and he also or he walked once. He had a sacrifice bunt his last time up. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. Gorski goes down swinging for the first out in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Logan Driscoll, the catcher out of George Mason, digs in from the left side. With one out, the bottom of the 8th, Mariners looking to go out in front. The first pitch, misses low and outside, check swing, and Driscoll's able to hold up. They motion over to the third base umpire, and Vicente Alexander Medina says that he holds up. The 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball misses outside, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Now Walsh has looked good so far. When this lefty-lefty matchup is probably going to make a difference, of course, coming around from the left side. He really hides his pitches well against a left-handed bat like Driscoll. The 2-0 pitch. Fastball misses up and in the count 3-0. And when you're in the bottom of the 8th inning like this, I'd have to think you're taking on 3-0. Make him throw that strike. You want to be a base runner. You want these base runners on in the bottom of the 8th inning. A tie ball game as well, a 3-3 game, 3-0 pitch. Fastball right down Broadway in the count 3-1. The 3-1 pitch from Walsh. Misses inside. It's a walk, a 5-pitch walk to Logan Driscoll. And the speedy catcher is aboard with one out. We mentioned this a little bit in the past. You don't see all that many speedy catchers. Driscoll's someone who has that speed, and it would be important for the Mariners to at least advance him into scoring position so they have an opportunity to take the lead with one swing of the bat and a simple base hit.
Well, no, with his speed definitely helps on the base pass as well. Can do a lot of things, whether it's advancing or maybe trying to break up a double play or anything on that like that. Speed can definitely help with a ball hitting the gap as well.
And the first pitch to Gabe Rivera, breaking ball swung on and missed in the count 0-1. Now, Gabe Rivera had an RBI single his last time up in the bottom of the 6th inning. That tied the game at 3-3. The 0-1 delivery. Breaking ball misses low into the dirt, and the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 out in the bottom of the 8th inning. Andrew Miziazik warms up in the Harwich Mariners bullpen. Driscoll leads off of first base. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on a high fly ball into shallow right center field. Ball dropping quickly. The right fielder Robertson comes in and makes a diving catch. Nice play by the right fielder Will Robertson, who came in at the last second and made a catch. And it looked like maybe a Bermuda Triangle play out there in right center, as Ellis, Robertson, and Wood were all converging. That ball was dropping very, very quickly.
Yeah, that ball was hit high in the air into no man's land out there in right center field. The center fielder, Burdick, coming on, Robertson as well. And then the second baseman, Wood, a tough play for all 3 guys, but finally coming in is Robertson, who calls everybody else off.
Runner goes. First pitch misses low to Eichhoff. Throw it out of second base is not in time. A stolen base from Logan Driscoll showing off that speed. And after watching the pitcher, Walsh, for an entire at-bat and seeing how often does he check on me, how often is he looking over, when is the best time to steal, he got the right idea, and he stole at exactly the right time, got an outstanding jump. Runner on second base, 2 outs. 1-0 count on Nate Eichhoff, who singled his last time up. The 1-0 pitch misses low, check swing. He's able to hold up, again to the dismay of the Cotuit Kettleers dugout. 2 balls and no strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning, a 3-3 ball game. The runner in scoring position is Nate Eichhoff. Is looking to drive him in. 2-0 pitch, breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike.
And that was Logan Driscoll's first stolen bases of the season right there. It's a big one as well. There's a base hit can't score him here in the bottom of the 8th.
The 2-1 delivery. Breaking ball misses low and outside, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike on Nate Eichhoff. Harwich Mariners have something cooking in the bottom of the 8th. Runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Can they drive in the run? The 3-1 pitch swung on, a line drive right at the second baseman Wood, who makes the catch. Unfortunate for Nate Eichhoff, as if that ball was hit in probably 80% of places around this diamond, that's a base hit, but it goes right to the second baseman, Corey Wood, who was there to make an easy catch. So that'll do it for the bottom of the 8th inning. We head to the 9th. It's a 3-3 ball game from White House Field. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Welcome back. Top half of the 9th inning from White House Field. It's a 3-3 game. Austin Rooney alongside Thomas Inzarella. We're glad to have you with us for this very tight ball game. Leading off for the Cotuit Kettleers, Peyton Burdick, who steps in from the right side. First pitch misses upstairs for ball 1. It's the 9-1 and 2 hitters due up. Burdick, Wood, and Robertson. The 1-0 pitch from Kirby swung on and fouled off to the backstop at the count 1-1. Kirby pitched the entire 8th inning. Back out for the top of the 9th. Andrew Miziazik was warming up earlier. And you'd have to think that if Kirby gets the job done in the top of the 9th, the Mariners aren't able to score in the bottom of the 9th. Maybe extra innings you see Miziazik come in. 1-1 pitch from Kirby is a fastball that misses just outside, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Burdick 1 for 3. Wood is 2 for 3. And then back at the top of the order, Robertson 0 for 3. 1-2 pitch, check swing. As he go around, the motion over towards first. And the first base umpire, Larry Rosenberg, says he goes around. That was awfully close. And again, Cotuit not happy with the calls made by this umpiring crew.
This whole night long, it's been everywhere. Cotuit not happy with anything that's been going on in today's game.
2-2 pitch. And he goes around for strike 3. And Peyton Burdick is standing there in the right-hander's batter's box in disbelief. And I think it's been everybody but the umpire over at third, Vincente Alexander Medina, who has upset this Katuitt Kettleers Ball Club.
Oh, it's been a series of calls that just keep piling up as this game progresses that you just always wonder. But they're in favor of Harwich, so I'm not going to say anything about them.
And Corey Wood, who was in the cleanup spot last night, in the 9 spot tonight. 2 for 3 in this evening's ball game. First pitch to the left-handed hitter, misses upstairs for ball 1. Base paths are empty with 1 out. 3-3 game, top of the 9th.
Yeah, Mike Roberts loves to shuffle his lineup around. People would say it's like a random number generator where these guys are going to be hitting every night.
1-0 pitch on the outside corner with a fastball for strike 1, and the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Wood is one of only 2 players on the Katuitt Kettleers who has not struck out yet tonight. The 1-1 pitch, fastball up and outside, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Mariners pitching staff has 8 strikeouts over 7 players. Salvatore and Wood are the only 2 who haven't gone down by the way of the K tonight. The 2-1 delivery. Fastball swung on and missed. Count even at 2-2. Big swing from Corey Wood, but he swings right through it. And they're 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 from Kirby. Fastball misses upstairs, and the count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Very interesting at bat with Corey Wood, who has worked this count full. The payoff pitch from Kirby. Swung on a high pop-up foul behind home plate. And the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. The 3-2 pitch. Swung on and fouled off over towards the Mariners bullpen, and the count remains full at 3-2.
And as this at-bat prolongs, so it's just pitch number 7. It's going to be a war of attrition here. Either Kirby's going to overpower with a fastball or was able to work a walk here. So we'll see who will win this battle.
Pitch number 8 of the at-bat. Swung on and fouled off behind home plate over the press box. Count remains 3-2. And if you're Kirby, you just have to keep pounding that strike zone with fastballs. You know that Wood has had a hard time catching up with him, and maybe if you throw 2-3 more, then you can go with the curveball and try to get him going.
Well, last couple of he's just missed them. He's found them just behind the press box area. A couple of them he's been late on as well, so he's been all over the place.
3-2 pitch, swung on a high fly ball into shallow left center field. Coming in is Norman, who makes the catch for the second out of the inning. A really nice play by Norman. Another one of those plays where I talked about that Bermuda Triangle play out in right center. It's a little bit like that out in left center this evening with Gorski, Norman, and Lipskis all converging onto the outfield grass. That ball was sinking and sinking quickly, but Norman was able to come in and make the catch.
A nice job by Ben Norman again, venturing the lights out there in left center field, and he'll make the grab.
And the first pitch to Will Robertson. This is upstairs and outside to the left-handed hitter. 3-3 game, top of the 9th. Harwich Mariners looking to win back-to-back games as the 1-0 pitch misses outside and the count 2-0. It's a tie ball game, though. Have to finish off with the top of the 9th before they'll get a chance to come to the plate. Kirby has retired 5 batters this evening, allowed just 1 base hit. As the 2-0 pitch is swung on and missed. It's actually 5 in a row now for Kirby as the first batter led off with a single. But he's continuously pounding the zone with hard fastballs, and the Katuitt hitters are having a hard time catching up, especially with these wooden bats. 95, 96 is what he's been throwing in the past. 2-1 pitch, went with something off speed. And the count 2-2 as Robertson was well out in front of that one. I think that was a changeup.
And I'll be surprised if Kirby will throw in the changeup there, the fastball. We know he has the off-speed curveball, but Changeup as well. A lot of guys will throw that as another out pitch to get hitters out in front.
3-2 pitch. Fastball, foul tip, and Driscoll unable to handle it, so the count remains 2-2.
And just popped out of his mitt the last second.
Base paths remain empty. 2 outs. Top of the 9th inning, a 3-3 ball game. The 2-2. Breaking ball misses low, and the count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. The second 3-2 count Kirby has worked, and the game plan has to be the same from Kirby. Keep on pounding that strike zone. The 3-2. Fastball swung on and missed. He gets Robertson swinging to end the top of the 9th. And after 8.5, it's a 3-3 ball game. Mariners coming up to the plate in the 9th looking to win it. Bottom half of the 9th inning, Tanner Morris steps in from the left side in a 3-3 game. First pitch is a fastball in there for strike 1. Austin Rooney alongside Thomas Cinzarello. We're glad to have you with us on hand for this ball game. The 0-1 pitch from Walsh. This is outside in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 delivery. Runs upstairs and inside in the count 2-1. And at this point in the ball game, it's all about getting that runner on base. And I say runner singular because it's only that lead runner that matters in the bottom of the 9th. 2-1 pitch swung on and fouled off behind home plate, or I should specify in the bottom of the 9th when it's a tie ball game, that is.
And especially when it's the lead runner as well. Lead runner is probably one of the most important runners if you're trying to win a game or mount a comeback.
The 2-2 pitch swung on, a ground ball over towards second base. Wood fields, he'll toss on to first, and there's 1 away.
Man, it's interesting. We've been watching Joe Walsh for about his 3rd inning of work about right now, and it's kind of similar delivery style to almost a Clayton Kershaw type, where he has a pause at the top of his windup, where he kicks off in the back and then is ready to deal, and then all of a sudden he has a Clayton Kershaw pause right in his leg kick. So it's interesting. It's just that timing mechanism that can throw a hitter off.
First pitch to Ben Norman, swung on, and a foul ball down the third base line out of play. Norman, a left-handed hitter out of Iowa. He's hit one home run on the season. That was versus YID in the short fences out in right center. Was able to just lift that ball over the wall. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner of the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Base paths are empty. 1 out. Bottom of the 9th inning. A 3-3 game between the Kettleers and the Mariners. The 0-2. Misses in the dirt, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2 delivery. Check swing, and it's fouled off over towards the Mariners' dugout, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's going over towards the bathroom shack out there, where the Harwich Dennis Rotary Club was set up earlier today with their nice little meal. Let's see if they're still there. I don't think so, but.
The 1-2 pitch. Fastball misses upstairs, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Especially if Norman can find a way on his speed, can also help as Andrew Misiazik continues to warm down the Mariners bullpen.
The 2-2 pitch from Walsh. Swung on and a slow ground ball over towards shortstop. Salvador Fields throws the first, is in time. 2 away in the bottom of the 9th inning. A nice play by Salvatore to charge on that ball, make a play on the backhand and throw across the diamond, and there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. And just to go over extra innings rules, Harwich Mariners, if it goes into extras, would they'd go until 12 innings if still tied. After the 12th inning, they declare it a tie. Now, bottom of the 9th inning, 2 outs, and there's a pitching change from White House Field. We'll step aside and sort out the details. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network, 3-3 in the 9th. Bottom of the 9th inning from White House Field, a 3-3 game, 2 outs, and a new pitcher, it's Steven Schock, who comes in. Schock has been the closer for the Kettleers this season, ERA under 1. First pitch to the 3-hitter. The Mariners order Aaron Schunk is popped up in the infield. First baseman Tolia gets under it and makes the catch for the final out of the inning. A quick 1 pitch and 1 out from Steven Schock to end the 9th inning. We head to extras. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Top of the 10th inning from White House Field, a 3-3 game. New pitcher coming in for the Harwich Mariners, Andrew Miziazik. He's set to face off against the 2, 3, and 4 hitters, Zach Humphreys, Thomas Dillard, and Michael Salvatore. First pitch. Check swing down the first baseline and count 0-1.
Yeah, Humphreys looking to try to bunt for a base hit that time. Just fouled it off towards just a little bit too far.
Count 0-1, no outs. Top of the 10th inning, 3-3. The 0-1 from Miziazik misses low into the dirt, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Base paths are empty. As the leadoff hitter in the inning, Zach Humphrey stands in from the right side. The 1-1 pitch, fastball, swung on and missed, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Top of the 10th inning. This game will go as many as 12 if necessary. The 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled off to the backstop. Count remains 1-2. 2 runs in the top of the third for Katuitt. 1 more in the top of the fourth. Mariners responded with 3 of their own in the bottom of the 6th inning to tie the game at 3, and that's the way it stood for the last 3 innings. The 1-2 pitch, check swing, and Humphreys is able to hold up.
And it's great to see that Miziazik was one of those guys that was a temporary player here on the Cape, and then he'll work his way on and get a full-time contract. Chris Galmore, the other guy is on this Mariners team.
Tom Sutera, too. 2-2 pitch swung on, a high fly ball into shallow center field. Gorski has jumped on his horse. He's had to come in to shallow center field and makes the catch. I don't think he realized how shallow that ball was going to be, as he ended up having to really run to get to that ball.
Yeah, that ball was hit high in the air. Might have had some backspin as well. And Gorski does have some speed out in center fielder, so able to chase that ball down. So the leadoff hitter here for the Cavaliers is retired in the 10th inning.
And Thomas Dillard, who already has his hit today, and he's had exactly 1 hit in each of the last 11. Let's see if that will hold up, as the first pitch is on the outside corner for strike 1.
And he's hitting from the right side this time now. We've seen him mostly from the left side today.
0-1 pitch. Fastball misses outside, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike on Dillard. And Dillard's only hitting .263 despite the fact he's in the middle of an 11-game hit streak. And 1-1 pitch is in there for strike 2, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the batting average hasn't been any better during this hit streak. If you're only getting 1 hit, you're going 1 for 4. You're only going to be hitting .250 during this streak. 1-2 pitch misses outside, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Every game he's basically batting .250, and it's going to double your average a bit.
2-2 pitch misses low into the dirt, and the count 3 balls and 2 strikes. As I mentioned a couple times already in tonight's broadcast, Thomas Dillard has had exactly 1 hit in each of his last 11 games. Some of these games 4 bats, others just 2, others 5. 3-2 pitch, swung on and missed, struck him out. Miziazik gets a big strikeout for the second out of the 10th inning.
You talk about big, you know, Dillard's one of those guys that can get a ball to leave the yard in a hurry, and able to retire him with that punch out. 2 outs here, the 2 Cavaliers, and the Mariners are almost back to get back into the dugout and get the bats going to try to walk this thing off.
And the first pitch to the 4-hitter, Salvatore, swung on, popping behind home plate, and giving chase is Logan Driscoll, but it gets out of play.
Yeah, Driscoll just ran out of room. The ball just gone out of the fence area.
The 0-1 pitch, breaking ball on the outside corner, in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Miziazik finds himself ahead in the count once again. 0-2 pitch, swung on and missed, struck him out. Salvatore goes down swinging for his first time tonight, and the Mariners get out of the top of the 10th in a 1-2-3 inning. Really great stuff from Miziazik. We head to the bottom of the 10th inning. Mariners 3, And the Kettleers 3. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Bottom of the 10th inning from White House Field, a 3-3 ball game between the Kettleers and the Mariners. Austin Rooney alongside my broadcasting partner Thomas Inzarella. Glad to have you with us. And the first pitch is in there for strike one from Schock. On the four-hitter Andre Lipsius, who has reached base 7 out of 8 times against this Cotuit Kettleers pitching staff over the last 2 days. The 0-1 pitch. This is outside in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Yesterday, Lipsius was 4 for 4. Tonight, 2 for 3 with a walk.
Schock did pitch against the Mariners back here on July 8th in a 4-1 win in favor of the Kettleers.
1-1 pitch, swung on and fouled off. The 4, 5, and 6 hitters, Lipsius, Casals, and Gorski, due up in the bottom of the 10th. The 1-2 pitch, swung on and fouled off behind home plate.
We mentioned this before. Schock kind of one of those sidearm delivery type of guys, like a Darren O'Day type of guy who's with the Orioles right now. Comes in, so it can be very difficult sometimes to pick up the spin on that ball and try to read what pitch it is.
The 1-2 pitch, cut on and fouled off down the right field side again from Lipsius. The 1-2 pitch, swung on and again fouled off from Andre Lipsius.
All he needs to do is just hang around for a little while, and he might see one in a pitch that's left over the plate.
Pitch number 7 of the at-bat, misses outside in the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, he's starting to work this count against Schock.
The 2-2. Swung on, a line drive up the middle for a base hit. It hops up over the glove of Wood. And Lipsius is on base to start things off in the bottom of the 10th.
And we've seen some plays out there by the second baseman. Wood just that ball ate him up. There is a hard hit ball right at him. He moved over to his right side backhand. But it's going to be a tough play to make as right the last second, the second up, bounced right over his mid and off his arm into right center field.
Yeah, it was basically up the middle. Went right up and over his glove, took a bad hop on him, and it was so hard hit that it was clearly going to be a base hit from Andre Lipsius.
Could have had some topspin on it as well, is what could have been the difference.
So a runner on first base, no outs. Bottom of the 10th inning, a 3-3 game. Schock opts to toss over to first base, and back to the bag easily is Lipsius.
Yeah, definitely trying to keep him close over there. Right now, the third baseman, Smith, is in, and so I'm guessing Casals is more than likely going to try to bunt Lipsius over. So anything that Shock can do to hold them on over at first base, because if it's, let's say, not a great bunt, and it gets to a guy over at third or first easily, they can try to maybe double up, or at least get Lipsius out over at first base, second base, and not allow the lead runner to get in.
Well, you mentioned that Casals may bunt. I'm sort of doubtful that he bunts. Casals is not somebody who typically bunts. He's a power hitter, somebody who gets a lot of extra base hits. I would honestly be a little bit surprised simply because of who Danny Casals is as a hitter. If it was Matt Gorski, I would say you're exactly right. But I think that Casals is somebody who's more likely to swing away and try to get an extra base hit and end this game with one swing of the bat. Runner on first, no outs. First pitch to Casals, swung on and fouled off down the right field side out of play, and the count 0-1. Casals digs his back foot into the right-handed batter's box. Lipsius off of first, no outs. Bottom of the 10th inning. In a 3-3 ball game. Tossing back over to first and diving back in safely is Lipsius. And again, Shock throwing over to first, and scooting back to the bag is Lipsius. That throw almost got away from the first baseman, Tolio. It was a little bit low. You have to be wary about that if you are Shock. The 0-1 pitch to Casals, swung on and fouled off behind home plate over towards the screen, and the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Casals 1 for 4. He singled and drove in a run. That was back in the 6th inning. As part of the Mariners' only 3 runs they've scored. Again throwing over to first is Shock. And diving back in safely once again is Lipsius. And if you're Shock, you want to look at Lipsius. You want to make sure he's not stealing second base. But at the same time, you can't be too worried about him and not worried enough about the runner at the plate. The 0-2. Swung on and missed. Fastball. And he blows it by Casals upstairs, and there's one away in the bottom of the 10th. And Matt Gorski, right-handed hitter, kicks around some dirt from the right side. Runner on first base, 1 out, and I'm not sure if Lipsius will directly try to advance him with a sacrifice bunt, but I would not be at all surprised to see Lipsius try to steal at this point. And now, all of a sudden, right when I say that, he walks back to the bag as Shock looks him back. First pitch to Gorski. Fastball swung on and missed, and the count 0-1. Gorski is looking to extend his hitting streak tonight. And he's 0 for 2. Reached base on a walk. He also had a sacrifice bunt, so it's his 5th plate appearance. He's only registered 2 at-bats. 0-1 pitch. Misses outside, and the count 1-1. It would be a perfect time for him to extend that hit streak I mentioned earlier, which is at 9 games right now. Tossing over to first base again is the pitcher Shock. And Shock worried that Lipsius may try to steal second base. And something's on Lipsius' hand. He's trying to brush it off himself as he called time. First base umpire Larry Rosenberg granted it, but it's back to baseball.
Got some dirt maybe stuck around him, his belt level or his arm.
The 1-1 pitch, he goes. Swung on, a ground ball over towards shortstop, and he can't handle it. Salvatore can't handle it. It's going to be an error on the shortstop, Salvatore, and the runner going in Lipsius made the difference. because with the runner going and the ground ball, Salvatore realized he would have to rush the play over to second base, and he didn't even complete the fundamental play, which is fielding the ground ball in the first place. So there are runners on first and second with one out. And most importantly, there's a runner in scoring position with one out.
Well, you're exactly right. The shortstop, Salvatore, just try to shovel it a little bit too quickly over to Corwood at second base and just couldn't quite corral it in time as he bobbles it and gives the ball at his feet. So now big situation here with Logan Driscoll, who will now try to score the run from over at second base.
Runners on first and second, one out. Bottom of the 10th inning. First pitch misses outside in the count. 1 ball and no strikes on Logan Driscoll. Driscoll came in for Brad Debo earlier in tonight's game. Brad Debo left after the bottom of the 6th inning. Driscoll has not recorded an at-bat yet. He had 1 plate appearance in which he walked earlier in tonight's game. The 1-0 delivery. Misses outside in the count. 2 balls and no strikes, and this is starting to get very, very interesting because if Driscoll is able to walk, that would load the bases with 1 out. Runners on first and second, 1 out. The 2-0 pitch. Misses outside, and the count goes to 3 balls and no strikes. First and second, a 3-0 count on Driscoll. The 3-0 pitch. Fastball right down the heart of the plate. And the count, 3 balls and 1 strike.
And kind of similar to Driscoll's last step, where he walked. Count was 3-0, and then took a fastball for 3-1. Let's see if Schock tries to get back into this count and tries to attack the catcher, Logan Driscoll.
The 3-3 game, the 3-1 pitch. And they motion over to second base. And the third base umpire, Vicente Alexander Medina, says he doesn't go around. Pitch missed outside, and the bases are loaded with 1 out. Mariners have the winning run 90 feet away.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, that was a very close call by Driscoll, and it almost looked like he went around, and I'm surprised that Mike Roberts is not saying anything. That was very close.
The third base umpire, Vicente Alexander Medina, who is normally over at third base, is over in that second base shortstop area right now, and that is as a result of runners being on first and second as he moves over toward closer to the middle infield. And Gabe Rivera digs in from the right side. Rivera is 1 for 4 with an RBI this evening. No strikeouts. No walks. He's got some power in his bat, there is no doubt. As the first pitch in there for strike 1 on the inside corner.
And he fields in as well as outfield in just a little bit, maybe a step or two to try to prevent any blue hits that go over the infield since they're playing in.
And Gabe Rivera steps back in from the right side. Lipsius off third, Gorski off second, Driscoll off of first. 1 out, bottom of the 10th inning, a 3-3 game. The 0-1 pitch swung on, and a line drive down the right field line, foul, and out of play. And the most important thing for Gabe Rivera to do right now is hit the ball in play. That is the crucial element. Whether or not it's a hit is secondary. If he can drive this runner in with a fly ball, with a ground out, one way or another, if he can drive this run in, that is what is most important at this point. The only runner that matters is that runner on third base, and that's Andre Lipsius. The 0-2 pitch swung on and fouled off again, and the count remains 0-2.
Rivera continues to foul off pitch after pitch here in this at-bat.
This ball game is tied at 3. It's been that way since the bottom of the 6th inning. We're in the bottom of the 10th. 1 out, bases loaded. The 0-2 from Schock. Swung on, and a short ground ball over to first. The first baseman throws home to get the out, and it will be the bases loaded again. Oh, and now there's a run down, and Gorski's going to be tagged out. It's a double play to end the bottom of the 10th inning. The Mariners had quite an opportunity, but Gorski is caught too far off of third base after a ground out to first. Instead of the bases loaded, still with 2 outs, the Mariners are unable to convert as Gorski is tagged out at the plate. So that'll do it for the bottom of the 10th inning. It's the Mariners 3 and the Cotuit Kettleers 3. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Back in the top half of the 11th inning, Mariners were unable to convert with the bases loaded and 1 out in the bottom of the 10th. So we move on to the top of the 11th. Michael Tolia in the right-hander's batter's box. First pitch from Miziazik is swung on and fouled off down the right field side. And giving chase was Eichhoff, but he runs out of room.
Big for Cotuit there is they really worked out of the inning all in one play, and it was just a fielder's choice that Gorski got caught just maybe a step off of third base too far.
And the 0-1 pitch misses low end in the dirt, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike.
This is a big game for both teams as well, with Orleans losing and Chatham already lost today. Again, I mentioned before in the pregame show, only 3 points behind Chatham. If they win here, they can only be 1.
1-1 pitch, fastball at the knees for strike 2, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Michael Tolia.
It's a big game for Cotuit because they're only 1 point ahead of Bourne for 4th place.
1-2 pitch, swung on and ground ball, foul down the third base side. Some important games have gone final tonight. 6-3 Commodores over the Firebirds, 6-3 Braves over the Red Sox, 9-5 Harbor Hawks over the Anglers. Those games are all still in progress. The 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed, struck him out. 1 out in the top of the 11th. Couple games have gone final. Brewster beats the Wareham Gatemen 5-3. And then at a totally separate game over in Hyannis, it's a 6-5 win for the Harbor Hawks over the Gatemen.
Yeah, that game is there are actually 2 games played in Hyannis today. One was just a continuation of the game that's under protest by Wareham. And so I guess the league, they did follow the of what Wareham thought was when they substituted the pitcher for as a DH they wanted to, and ended up playing that game, but Hyannis still winning that game anyway.
First pitch in there for a strike in the count 0-1. Now the 0-1 pitch misses outside in the count 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 delivery swung on and missed. Brady Smith behind in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Base paths are empty, 1 out, top of the 11th inning. And the Mariners, if they're able to find a way to win tonight's game, they'd pick up another 2 points on the second place Chatham Anglers. The 1-2 pitch misses outside, and they count 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the 2-2 pitch swung on and missed, struck him out. And Smith goes down swinging, and another couple of outs from Andrew Miziazik, who has looked nothing short of outstanding this evening.
Miziazik's looking like just his plain old self. Couple of strikeouts add to his name, and no hits and 4 punch-outs and 5 batters he has faced. So he's excellent on the mound right now. That's 4 straight he's stricken out.
First pitch on the outside corner for strike 1 with a fastball to Duke Ellis, and the count 0-1. The 0-1 pitch swung on, a high fly ball to right center field. On the run is Gorski, and he makes the catch to end the top of the 11th inning. Another outstanding inning from Andrew Miziazik. At the end of 10 1/2, it is the Harwich Mariners 3 and the Cotuit Kettleers 3. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Bottom half of the 11th inning, Nate Eichhoff, the 9-hitter in the Harwich Mariners order, will dig in from the left side. Mariners had the bases loaded and 1 out in the bottom of the 10th. They were unable to drive home a run. The first pitch to Eichhoff is on the outside corner for strike 1. The 0-1 pitch to Eichhoff. Runs inside and the count even at 1-1. Mariners had, again, runners on first and second with 1 out. Driscoll then walked, made a bases loaded 1 out, and then a ground ball over to first base from Rivera. They threw home and then were able to get Gorski caught in a pickle as the 1-1 pitch is swung on and fouled off over towards the Cotuit dugout, and the count 1-2.
Mariners have played quite a few amount of extra inning games so far. Walked off against Orleans here with a home run by Gallen. They've lost 2 to YD, 1 here and 1 back in YD.
The 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled back to the screen behind home plate from Eichhoff, and the count remains 1-2.
And then they've also lost to Brewster here in extras as well. So far I have 1 and 3 in extra innings. That's what I can think of off my mind so far.
Also versus Orleans, the win there. The 1-2 pitch swung on and popped up foul behind home plate and out of play with the 2-run home run from Casals. So that's 2 wins for the Harwich Mariners. Eichhoff digs back in. The 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled back right over towards me in the press box, and the count remains 1-2. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. Sykoff goes down swinging for the first out in the bottom of the 11th.
That's a big out for the Cavaliers in shock as now Wyckoff is retired, especially with the top three coming back around. If Wyckoff could have found a way to reach base, the top three coming back around, it would have been looking very good for the Mariners in that situation.
Sixth at bat of the game for Tanner Morris. First pitch runs low and outside for ball 1. He's 1 for 5 in the day with a couple of strikeouts. And the new leader in average for the Harwich Mariners is Andre Lipsius, who's 3 for 4 tonight, 7 for his last 8. Reached base in 8 of his last 9. The 1-0 pitch on the outside corner, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 delivery. Breaking ball swung on and missed, and the count 1-2 on Tanner Morris. 1 out, bottom of the 11th inning. Base paths are empty, a 3-3 game from White House Field. The 1-2 pitch. This is low, and the count 2-2. For the most part, the crowd has funneled out here at White House Field. There are still some fans left in the seats looking to watch the end of tonight's ball game. Can only go as far as 12 innings. 2-2 pitch swung on and fouled off behind home plate. After 12 of this game remains tied, these two teams will both get 1 point and get a tie. 2 points for a win in the standings, 1 point for a tie, no points for a loss.
As I said, in bad news, Bears tying is like kissing your sister. I hope we don't get to do that today. Definitely, I think for the Mariners, you want to win.
2-2 pitch swung on and missed from Tanner Morris. He goes down swinging, and there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 11th. Ben Norman was also 1 for 5 tonight. A left-handed hitter looks to keep this inning alive.
I forgot as well, you can count the Wareham game as a loss, too, back on Sunday in extra, so.
First pitch, fastball misses outside, so going back to that, they're what, 2 and 4?
I think 2 and 4, that's what I have right now.
Still trying to think back in that memory bank. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner, and the count, I said 1-2 at 1-0. Count 1-1 now. 2 outs. Bottom of the 11th inning. Base paths are empty in a 3-3 game. The 1-1 delivery. Runs low and in, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. The 2-1 delivery. Swung on a high fly ball down the left field line, tailing out of play. Looked like it might be dangerous off the bat, but it tailed well into foul territory.
Yeah, Norman just off the edge of the barrel, just stuck the barrel out there. It was always going foul, but that's a nice distance to it. He tries to straight out here with 2 strikes on him.
Mariners trying to extend this inning and win it. In the bottom of the 11th, the base paths are empty, though, with 2 outs. The 2-2 pitch. This is low and in to Ben Norman, and the count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes on the left-handed hitter. The Mariners could get him on base, then things start to change with Shunk and Lipsius in the middle of the order coming up. The 3-2 pitch swung on and missed, struck him out. Norman goes down swinging to end the bottom of the 11th inning. We head to the top of the 12th. It's a 3-3 game. You're listening to Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. top of the 12th inning. Harwich Mariners and Katuitt Kettleers are tied at 3-3. This will be the final inning one way or another, as Peyton Burdick leads things off as the 8, 9, and 1 hitters are due up for the Kettleers. First pitch swung on and fouled off behind home plate. Count 0-1. After 12 innings, the game remains tied. It is a tie. Both teams receive a point. 0-1 pitch misses low and in the dirt. Count 1 ball and 1 strike on the 8-hitter Peyton Burdick. Burdick 1 for 4 this evening with the strikeout. The 0-1 pitch swung on and missed with a fastball, and the count 1-2. The 1-2 pitch misses low to Burdick, in the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Misiazik steps off the mound as Burdick restraps his batting gloves and digs back into the right-handed batter's box. The 2-2 pitch swung on, a high pop-up into shallow right field. Rivera moving over, and he makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
Misiazik has really cruised through his outing so far. And they make that 2 1/3 innings pitch now. No hits still allowed by him, including 4 punch-outs. So over the half, the hitters he has faced this evening have gotten out through the way of the punch-out.
Now the 9-hitter Corey Wood digs in from the left side. First pitch, a breaking ball in there for strike 1. Looked a little below the knees, but I think when it crossed home plate, maybe it was about around the knees. So the count 0-1 on the left-handed hitter. The 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball on the inside corner of the count. No balls and 2 strikes.
And that's what makes Misiazik a really good pitcher. He can really spot that off-speed pitch at the knees multiple times. He can move it across all sides of the plate, east and west.
0-2 pitch misses upstairs in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's gone 2 1/3 innings of work. Has not allowed a single base runner. He struck out 4 in that time frame. The 1-2 misses inside in the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2. Breaking ball on the outside corner for strike 3. Wood can't believe it, but there are 2 away in the top of the 12th nonetheless. And this pitching staff just keeps on cruising.
Both pitchers on the mound right now are the closers for their respective teams, and they're just not giving up any ground to these hitters on both sides. Shock and Misiazik have done a great job so far, and not really allowing a lot of chances, but it's a big one for the Mariners.
First pitch swung on and missed from the leadoff hitter, Will Robertson. The count 0-1. 0-1 pitch. This is outside. Count 1 ball and 1 strike on Robertson. Robertson 0 for 4 with a walk and 2 strikeouts. The 1-1 delivery swung on, a high pop-up behind home plate. Logan Driscoll chases it back to the screen. It's going to go out of play. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Will Robertson. The Mariners can record this out. They would not lose this game. They will tie, or if they can score a run in the 12th inning, win. 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed, struck him out. He goes down, swinging to end the top of the 12th inning. It's a 3-3 game. Yet another strikeout from from Andrew Misiazik. It's strikeout number 5 over 3 innings of work. We head to the bottom of the 12th. You're listening to Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners Radio Network. Bottom half of the 12th inning, a pitching change from White House Field in a 3-3 game. Austin Rooney alongside Thomas and Zarella. Glad to have you with us. The new pitcher is Garrett Gale. Gale out of Rice has a 0.75 ERA. First pitch to Aaron Shunk is swung on and fouled off down the right field line, out of play. Doesn't get much better than putting Gary Gale into a game late in a ball game. Andrew Mizyazik has great numbers too, but this is just sort of the closer that they want on the mound. First 0-1 pitch swung on and a shallow fly ball into left field. The left fielder Ellis moves in and makes the catch. There's one away in the bottom of the 12th. It's not getting easier though, because Andre Lipsius is kicking around some dirt in the right-hander's batter's box.
Yeah, Lipsius has definitely been the Kettler killer for the last couple games that he has faced the Killers. He's really started to heat up at home at the plate.
Well, that might be an understatement. He's 7 for 8 versus the Katuitt pitching staff over the last 2 days. The first pitch misses low, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. 7 for 8 with a walk. The 1-0 pitch swung on in a shallow line drive, spinning down the right field line, foul and out of play. It's tailed over towards the Katuitt bullpen, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch to Lipsius. This is low and outside, and the count 2-1. If you're Garrett Gale in this situation, you don't want to allow base runners, but do you pitch around Lipsius to an extent?
In a way, you're not going to, especially with the hitters count right now, you don't want to group him a fastball.
2-1 pitch. Fastball misses inside, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike on Lipsius.
I think if he's going to try to put something not really in the zone against Lipsius, kind of want to maybe try to get him to swing out of the zone.
So the last thing you want to do if you're Gale is allow a home run to Lipsius. 3-1 pitch swung on and fouled off down the right field side, out of play. The count goes full up 3-2. Now, Lipsius has reached base 8 out of 9 times over the last 2 days. 7 with hits, 1 with a walk. We'll try to make it 8 out of 10. The 3-2. Swung on and fouled off, and the count remains full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Lipsius working Gale. The 7th pitch of the at-bat. Swung on and missed, and finally, this Katuitt pitching staff is able to retire Andre Lipsius. He got him on a strikeout after 7 pitches, and Lipsius has a couple of words for Casals as to what he wants to tell him about Gary Gale.
And now Danny Casals is the last hope for the Mariners. He does have some big at-bats this year. He's home run back in Orleans, probably one of the biggest ones that gave them the lead, and most people won that game.
First pitch to Casals, fastball, a big swing and a miss, and the count is 0-1. Mariners down to their final out. If they cannot score a run, they will tie tonight's game 3-3. 0-1 pitch, swung on and fouled off, and the count 0-2 on Danny Casals. While the base paths are empty, the Mariners look to put together a rally and try to win tonight's game in the bottom of the 12th inning. They can either tie or win. They can't lose. As the 0-2 pitch misses way upstairs, and the count 1-2. And when Katuitt has their best guys in, whether it be Schock or Gale, it's awfully tough to get hits off of them. The 0-2. Breaking ball in there for strike 3. Casals doesn't like it, but that will do it for tonight's ball game. A 12-inning tie. It's a 3-3 final. Mariners' second tie of the season. And based on the results around Cape Cod, the Harwich Mariners will get a point back on the Chatham Anglers. They were down by 3 entering tonight's game. They'll be down by 2. Anglers fall to 15-16-2. The Mariners will be 14-17-2. So the Mariners will take 3 out of 4 points versus the Katuitt Kettleers. And let's start with the starting pitching for tonight's game. Tom Sutera started the game for the Harwich Mariners, and he ran into some trouble in the third and the fourth after a really strong first and second innings.
Yeah, no, Sutera did run into some trouble, but again, I don't think it was he still pitched a solid outing. I think it was his best outing. Again, 4 and a third, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. So he did run into some trouble, but again, I think Beeline came on to really get Sutera out of that jam when he came in the fifth inning, so that really helped as well limit the damage. And then George Kirby coming on for a Beeline pitches really well. I think the bullpens for both sides did an excellent job, except Deacon Metters for the Katuitt Killers really got roughed up tonight, allowed the majority of their runs that was given up for the Killers. Zane Collins was a big, bright spot for the Killers, and they needed a big start, especially 2 out of 3 times before this game. The Killers have been they just gave so many runs in the first 4 innings. You know, think back to the first time in Lowell Park when the Mariners went 10-3. Again, they put that game away early, and then yesterday they put up so many runs. About 10 runs in the first 4 innings or so. I mean, it's awfully tough to compete when you don't get a good start for your starting pitchers. So that's what Katuitt did today. Collins gave them the chance to win. They held the lead, but unfortunately they were unable to hold that lead. And I think if you look back for the Mariners, they did leave They have a couple opportunities. You'll think back to the 10th and the 6th as well. The 6th, they did score the 3 runs, but left 3 guys on with the bases loaded. So that's something they could have maybe got a couple more across. And then the 10th inning was probably the big one when they could have won the game then.
The 10th inning was the big one. You are exactly right on that note. The Harwich Mariners had the bases loaded with 1 out, and coming to the plate was the 8-hitter Gabe Rivera, and he hit a ground ball, a side-spinning ground ball over towards first base. Tolia fielded it, threw to the home plate for the lead out, and then the catcher Humphreys was very alert, threw down to third base as he realized Gorski was a little too far off the bag. And at that point, Gorski caught in the pickle and threw back to the plate, tried to hurdle the catcher, but he was tagged out by Humphreys to the plate, and that ended the Mariners' threat. And I do not think you can overstate how well this Harwich Mariners bullpen did tonight. A total of 7 2/3 innings of work, allowed no walks, 1 hit, no earned runs. They were nothing short of outstanding. Sutera left in the top of the 5th inning, and he had a couple runners on base, runners on the corners actually with 1 out. And Beeline comes in, gets a strikeout and a flyout, and all of a sudden the inning's over. And then he comes in and retires another 6 straight. 8 up and 8 down from Michael Beeline. From Kirby, 6 up. 7 batters came to the plate, 6 down. He struck out 3 in the process, allowed just 1 base hit. And then Mizyazik, 9 up, 9 down, 6 strikeouts. So the bullpen tonight was outstanding, and they were the ones who kept the Mariners in this game when they were trailing early. And they allowed the Mariners to come back and tie the game and did not allow another run. And now sort of looking on the hitting front for the Harwich Mariners tonight, they put up a total of 9 hits. They out-hit the Kettleers 9-7. And there were a couple guys who had big nights. I think that the clear one was Lipsius. He was 3 for 5 tonight, added an RBI, not an RBI, scored a run and walked as well. So he was on base 4 of 6 times. So he continues to be red hot at the plate.
And Lipsius has been the guy that's carried him over the last 2 or 3 games or so and really stepping in quite nicely to that forward spot in the batting order. And we'll see if moving forward, if Lipsius can continue this hot trend that he's been on, especially against the Killers. Now, they'll take a couple Western Conference opponents coming up again. They play Wareham back here tomorrow in the Falmouth, and then head to Orleans on Saturday. So, again, they have a couple more opportunities to maybe pick up some more games here, maybe gain some ground on Chatham, maybe overthrow Chatham in the number 2 spot so they can get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Now, there is a lot of games left, but, again, just position yourself heading to the playoffs is something that, a team like Harwich might, think about rather sooner rather than later.
Well, the updated standings are out. In first place in the Eastern Division, the YD Red Sox have 42 points. Second place, Chatham Anglers, 32. So it's a very healthy lead in first place for the YD Red Sox. I don't see them falling back from first place.
Yeah, I mean, they pat themselves a nice little lead, but especially from when I saw a stat the other day from Codball, the Cape Cod Times. Cape League, and it was something I think we were 2-4-1 was YD, and then ever since then they've been 17, and that's when they got swept by K2 in a doubleheader. Ever since then, they've been, I think, 17-4-1 in that stretch, which is unbelievable for YD to put a stretch like that together.
They've been outstanding. You're right. They've beaten the Mariners every single time the two teams have played. So the Mariners would like to at least get a couple wins against them as they head into the postseason. It's very unlikely the Mariners will see the YD Red Sox in the first round unless they fall behind the Orleans Firebirds, who lost again tonight. So just finishing up the division that I was mentioning earlier, YD Red Sox are first with 42 points. Second place, Chatham, 32 points. Chatham has now lost 3 consecutive ball games. Harwich Mariners in third with 30 points, so only trailing Chatham by 2. In fourth place, the Orleans Firebirds, 5 points behind the Mariners. They've got 25. And then in dead last, the Brewster Whitecaps with 21 points. They've won 2 in a row, so Brewster starting to creep up on the Orleans Firebirds. You never know what's going to happen. They're only 2 games out of a playoff spot in dead last are Brewster. So you never know what can happen over the course of the next 10, 11 games. It's very possible Brewster picks up a couple of wins. They could surpass Orleans.
Duffy said, I said this early in the year, too. I said anything can happen in the Cape League, and Brewster really showing some life down there. They had won 3 or 4 last week, then lost, I believe, 2 more in a row, and now have come back. And they've defeated a tough team in Chatham yesterday and come back and win today. So, especially a Chatham team that has Spencer Torkelson back in the lineup, who has had 5 home runs at limited time on the Cape and was leading the Cape League in home runs for a while before he departed for Team USA. So I'm very intrigued to see how Chatham and even Brewster can finish off this season, especially with some additions and Brewster playing so well.
And going over to the Western Division now, 40 points for Hyannis. They're in first, 37 for Wareham. They're in second, 33 for Falmouth in third. And then Bourne and Cotuit are the bottom feeders at 29 apiece. So the Cotuit Kettleers in last place in that Western Division. So tonight's game was important, and the fact they got a tie out of it, well, it means they're still tied for last place, but at least, they are still in that running in 5th place. But I think the big thing to remember for the Harwich Mariners is if they can get some of those guys back from USA, you were mentioning them as well, that could really help bolster the lineup heading into the playoffs. They have to continue to win. They have a couple of games against these tough Western Conference opponents coming up. If they can take home a couple of wins versus them, that would go a long way for the Harwich Mariners in terms of moving up into that second spot. They're looking pretty safe right now in terms of the playoffs, making them at all. They're 9 points up on Brewster, 4.5 games that would be, and they have 13 games left to play. So that will do it from us here at White House Field. The Harwich Mariners will take on the Whitecaps, the Wareham Gatemen tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. right back here at White House Field. So for my broadcasting partner, Thomas Cinderella, I'm Austin Rooney saying so long as the Harwich Mariners tie the Cotuit Kettleers 3-3 tonight. We wish you a pleasant good night.